That's my fault. Give me the pain.
I've never had good luck with aspirin. What I have had good luck with is ibuprofen or naproxen.
Yeah, naproxen is a good one. Hey, Tom, I was sorry I was short, man, but I had to get off the phone so I could get on here. So, I mean, I'm going to... Yeah. So, what do you want to do today? You want to do Carolina, Fort Worth?
Yeah.
And Leah, and we'll look at... I couldn't find the video you were talking about from Freeman where he kind of went crazy or went counter to what he usually talks about, because he's usually... I mean, he's not really an auditor. He's a journalist, as far as I'm concerned. Like, he's closer to Pre than he is any other auditor. When he talks to the pigs, he's very... I don't know. He's trolling them.
He's more of a Freeman or a sovereign than he is an auditor.
Yeah, he's doing his own thing. He's not fitting in anybody's molds.
He still puts up with a lot of bullshit, though. And this last video was on his secondary channel, so only, a fraction.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. So,
not fake news, I think, is what it is, or
I looked for it. I just couldn't manage finding it. So, let me see. I think.
Well, I've watched a couple of John Grisham, the lawyer's videos, and he's not focused on the right things at all. He's totally focused on nonsense. He's totally wanting to argue about.
Sorry. Yeah, he's a lawyer. He's an officer of the court. He claims he's a civil rights attorney, but a civil rights attorney doesn't dwell on statutes and policies and ordinance and all that other shit. But see, that's his lawyer training taken over from his citizenship. I mean, it's like getting Stephen Hawking's to have a talk about model rocketry with 6-year-olds. He's going to go completely over their heads with it when all they really need is the simple answer.
Stephen Hawking is probably a freaking puppet. I mean, he's dead now,
I'm just using him as
this character.
I'm just using a per se, man. It's not,
Nobody's a professional in America. This is a huge hoax that everyone falls for. That somewhere there's a professional that's checking up on everything, and that's just totally bullshit. That's just not the case at all.
Right. We live in a sandbox. We live in an open world sandbox simulation with no admins. Basically that, right. There's nobody checking our work. There's nobody. Yeah. They pretend they are, but really all they do is they write fines when you break a rule. Like if I did a plumbing job and I put the outdoor pipes too close to the surface and they froze and broke, they would, write me a fine for that. Plus I'd have to fix it and, probably get sued by the homeowner or whatever. But that you can't have complete oversight all the time, I guess is what I'm saying. But you're right, man. There's like no oversight at all. Hardly any until something breaks. Like the one thing that my grandfather told me was, right, like you can do whatever you want in this country until somebody complains. Right? That But we're either going to be a nation of babies with an equal number of babysitters, or we're going to be responsible adults, right?
Yeah. It's not just a complainer, though. It's a complainant or a plaintiff.
Right.
And that means they've been damaged in some way by you.
Right. That's that I think was his point.
Yeah.
In the first, that's the point he was trying to make. Give me just 1 minute, man. I got something on the stove. I got to turn it off before it turns into a freaking brick of charcoal. I'll be right back. Just give me 1 minute or two. Welcome back.
So, are you recording this on OBS?
No, I'm on
StreamYard.
I'm on StreamYard, yeah.
And it records it. I haven't noticed you publishing videos.
I haven't really had anything. I mean, I wanted to do.
You didn't do anything from Chili's conviction.
Not yet. I'm working on that. I have a couple in the pipe. I'm just not satisfied with them. That's all. I need to fluff them up a little bit. There needs to be a little bit of eye candy at the beginning. That's the real problem. I mean, I guess it's not really important, but fuck, I don't know. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I know I have stuff. I just want to. It needs some pop right at the beginning. You know what I mean? Or at the end. One of the two. It's just. I don't know. I'm so tired of seeing these videos that don't have any. God damn it. Of course, people that I've been wanting to talk to all week, they can't call me on a day that's convenient. They got to call me when I'm doing this. Jesus. Okay, so anyway, I guess where I'm going with the chili thing is I need like just a logo at the beginning or a sign or something, and I can't really figure out how to do that. Will OBS do that in a vertical format for the shorts? In other words, will it convert like a full screen to a short where I just crop it or whatever?
Yeah. You'll tell it what resolution you're wanting it to produce out of. Your video will have its own resolution, but for shorts, I guess they are filmed in vertical mode, aren't they? So that is a little bit different.
Yeah.
What you do with that is you just find out what resolution you want. YouTube wants shorts published at, and it'll say exactly the pixels that you need to put in, and it'll turn it into that. And then you could blow up a certain area or something like that, modify it after that. Yeah, with OBS.
Okay.
Well, no, with Shotcut. You want to use Shotcut for that video editor.
Shotcut. Yep. I haven't really had time to play with any of that.
Well, that's the one that you're going to use for all of this. Cutting up Chili's thing. I mean, it couldn't be any easier. You just go to the part where you want it to start, put a split there, delete everything in front of it, and then go to the part where you want it to end, put a split there, delete everything after that. And then you could put your channel, like my channel, I usually put my intro and outro. And you just go to a website to have them make something like what I have. I told you that.
I don't have any names, but that's okay, man.
Just look it up on Google and just ask it. Free intro, outro, and then you're gonna want to publish it to the resolution that you're wanting to use. Typically, I would go with 720 because you don't need more than that. I think that StreamYards is transferring our video at something like 480 or something. So why would you want to publish something like this in 4K? It wouldn't make any sense at all.
Right. Yeah, make no sense whatsoever. Make no sense at all. Man, this shit. The file that I downloaded for Carolina is in a format that StreamYard doesn't like. Of course.
Well, you should be able to share desktop with audio, but I don't know if you can do that.
No, you can't on StreamYard. You can't do it.
You know what?
Which is
to
stupid.
Tell you the truth, everybody's seen this shit with Carolina and Fort Worth. So let's just go over it. First off,
we don't need to show it.
She walks up. She's giving them lots of distance, and that's the type of shit that the lawyer's going to argue. Is how many feet were this and that? They're such idiots.
Yeah, like Chili's case. Yeah, they're all dummies.
And instead of just, where's the cop's warrant to seize her? If he doesn't have a warrant, then that's just a crime. She needs to be filing 2 sets of criminal charges, one state, one federal.
Yep. Hey, I'm going to go live
Okay.
So let's start that over.
Okay.
Give me just a second to get it live. And we're live with Kennedy Walker. Today we're going to talk about Carolina Fort Worth, Sean Reyes of Long Island Audit, and a little bit of James Freeman and his potential break from reality last week. So go ahead, Kennedy. Why don't you open us up, man?
First, we're probably going to discuss Carolina and Fort Worth. Everyone's seen the video. We don't need to show it, so we're not going to. It's essentially that she walked up. She was obviously conducting her press activity, right? Not that that matters, because a cop needs a warrant to seize you or search you or anything. And that's because probable cause has been determined. And a judge does that. A judge. They'll sign it on a warrant. They're going to have an affidavit of probable cause. It's going to be a witness's sworn statement of damages.
Right, an injured complainant.
Right, and then if that's criminal...
Which in this case, there isn't one.
If that's criminal, then we'll be dealing with a criminal warrant. Otherwise, it's a civil case. The judge isn't going to find any jurisdiction for what he does. He does criminal charges, and so you're going to need to file a lawsuit or something like that if it's a civil situation. But if it is a criminal situation, then the judge is going to read that complainant's sworn statement of damages, sign a warrant, which is finding probable cause. That's what that means. He's finding probable cause. Who does that? It's a judge. He signs a warrant.
Right.
The cop's only authority is to do what the warrant says. So, if the cop didn't have a warrant saying that he needed to grab Caroline in Fort Worth and throw her around, then that means he didn't have a right to do that at all, no matter what. No matter what he says. He'll say reasonable. He'll say 10 feet, 5 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot. Okay, he'll say this stuff. But what he's never going to get to is the point that there was no warrant to seize her. And Caroline in Fort Worth, she knows this stuff. She doesn't care, though. She's more interested in what's popular, which is case precedent. She's more interested in that crap than actually just her rights. She doesn't recognize her rights. Like a foreigner. She has alienated herself from her own rights through her choices. And it's just, when she came walking up to the cop was like, you got to get out of here. If you don't, I'm going to arrest you. And she's like, why? And here's the problem with why, is that you're implying that if the cop says the right thing, then that makes it lawful or something.
Right, you're given an opening for him to put his crowbar in to get even to wiggle into your business even more. Yeah. When instead, what she should have said was like, "Where's your warrant?"
Yeah, where's your warrant?
I have a Fourth Amendment protection against illegal seizure of my person, my property, my home, my effects.
Yeah, warrantless seizure. Let's say that, so it's even more specific. Warrantless seizure,
while armed,
because it's the judge that determines that. It's the judge that signs a search or a seize warrant. If you don't have a search or a seize warrant, then you can't take a thing. You can't screw with anyone's property. You can't check anyone's identity. You can't do anything, because we need to be sure that you have a right to be doing what you're doing. Cops these days think that they do whatever the hell they want, and you guys are on board with it. Come on, let's be honest.
Yeah, auditors kind of pander to that by the way they approach what they do. They ask, well, what crime have I committed? Where's your RAS? What crime? Well, this case, that case, the other case, blah, blah, blah. It's all about the Supremacy Clause and the Constitution.
Yep.
None of that other stuff matters. You shouldn't be even talking about that.
It should basically never matter. Some laws do apply to you that aren't protected activities that are outlined in the amendments. But most things are. That's 95% of a minimum. That's basically all your traffic tickets, unless there's an actual injured complainant. And then it's all your drug war stuff. It's all of your Cop walks up and says you're suspicious. It's all of that crap. He needs to already have a warrant to seize you. Otherwise, he's just some guy disrupting your
committing
business.
Crimes. Yeah, he's committing crimes. That's all.
Yeah, in my state, it'd be a disorderly conduct, disrupting a citizen's lawful business. If you come up to him, you don't have a right to search or seize him, and yet you will not leave him alone. This is a type of like a civil harassment. In some states, harassment means different things, but civilly, harassment is when a person comes up and bothers you, right?
Right. Well, at that point, like if he just comes up and he's got no business at all, which he didn't with Carolina, not really. First of all, it wasn't a crime scene. They were illegally towing cars and making sure they were getting
crime scenes are unconstitutional. That these guys here's the deal. If you walk up and tamper with evidence in a crime scene, then you can be charged with that crime. Right. The cops are always like, no, we need to create a barrier, and then if you walk across it, you're guilty of a crime, and we're the complainant, and that's never true. That's never true. It's just like how women are always like, oh, I'm being attacked. Really? Because you're fucking 50 years old and you don't have a scar on you. I'm sure you've been crying this attack nonsense your whole life. I'm sure that's what your entire existence has been. It's crying about how everyone's attacking you when no one's doing shit to you. And the cops in the Justice Department, all that shit's the same way, where they're just always trying to pretend like they're the victim. He crossed this line, so now I'm a victim. You're doing just fine there, traitor. And the reason you're a traitor is because you get paid for it. So let's not forget that all of these crimes committed against you, like you're doing just fucking fine. Just fine.
Yeah, in any instance, can the state be an injured complainant? That's what I want to know. Can the state ever be a complainant?
They don't have a face. You have a right to face your accuser.
Okay, what about the feds?
Is not a face. Same shit.
State is state, no matter what you're talking about. State is state all the way from.
Is going to be federal. The state. Yeah. Okay. There's several ways of talking about the state. The state means the government, but it also means this geographical location called Oregon or something,
or Idaho or Ohio or Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it can indicate several different things. So, but if you're being real specific, you're just going to be talking about the state as in Oregon, and then you're going to be talking about the federal government as in federal. But the truth is, the federal government is the state. The USSR is the state. You know, like these are that's the state, but
yeah, the USSA. They might as well just go ahead and change the company name to USSA, and we'll be America over here doing our thing. They could just fuck off with all this socialism. I mean, dude, everything now that my eyes are open to it, everything that I see these people doing is socialism. Yeah. Oh, right?
Yeah.
Like in Ohio, they're going to use like $50 million to build pickleball courts all around the state. Get the fuck out of here. I just don't. That's ridiculous.
A private business. Listen, if pickleball is great, then a private business needs to start investing their own money. They get some stockholders together, right? Start investing, and then put that money into some pickleball. Look, if it's a good idea, it's a good idea. Do it. But the problem is, now the state's going to extort the funds from you to make these pickleball courts, which we don't even know if they're a good idea. A business can't even succeed building these, as far as we've seen. So,
well, there's got to be. I know there's some places that have it, but they're usually already athletic clubs or gyms or whatever, and then they just add pickleball as part of your membership. I think. I don't know. I don't care for racket sports.
It's every level, including just the public parks and the maybe the swing sets and stuff. It's every level of it where it's just like somebody said it that parks need to be like sponsored by Sonic or something, and they're selling slushies and shit there, and it's like where it's like a business is making this park a thing that works. And they're not only not sucking tax money from you, but they're taking all this willfully provided funds, because people are like, slushy, $8, great. We're at this awesome park, and there's a fucking beach or whatever, or there's volleyball, and what is the game you brought up?
Yeah, pickleball,
and then there's some basketball courts, and they're selling Gatorades, and they're selling, I mean, you know, as opposed to these public parks that are just some dead bullshit where the cops just want to fuck with people. Oh, you're on our property. That's what these people believe.
Well, that's, you know, I was just thinking that myself. You know, like I've seen a couple of videos. They weren't necessarily auditors, but dude stopped to walk his dogs on some Department of Forestry land, which is technically a park. It's public access. They can't, but they use it as an excuse for enforcement. You know, like the forestry agents, they're just cops for those forestry public properties. You know, that's all they are. And the cops, you know, he came and he was like, well, you're camping. Dude had his truck and he was resting, and it was a hot day, or he was trying to stay warm or something, so he had the windows all covered with those reflective deals, right? I don't know. He said he'd only been in the park for like an hour, but you know, it doesn't matter because he wasn't camping. He hadn't been there overnight.
No. It doesn't matter because there isn't an injured complainant. No.
Right, no injured complainant. Yep.
Yeah, there's no injured complainant, so it can't matter. It can't. It can never matter. These fucking government agents are like, oh, yeah, that's a violation. That's a violation. But that's not how it works. That's how a kid looks at the law, where it's like, oh, that's illegal. That means you can't do it. Well, it means that not everyone can do it. Someone can. And I'm probably one of those someones.
Yeah, you just have to be able to, you know, see, this is my brainwashing is still, I'm still working. It's not going to go away overnight. It's, you know, I'm still stuck in that rut of this, that, and the other violation or whatever of
when I see a retard, I can't imagine why he would have authority over me. So I don't know what you're talking about. When I deal with these people, I'm always just like, wow, you literally think you're a legitimate human being? You're over here. You've got advice for me. Is that some sort of joke? Is that literally a joke? Like, I honestly, I perceive it as some sort of fucking like joke that the devil's playing on people or some shit like that. Where it's just like you literally think you're going to tell me what to do, even though I feed your worthless fucking children. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah, I pay your bills, but you're going to tell me how to act.
Right. You're going to tell me what to say? Yeah. Is that a joke? Is that
What's
a joke?
Up, Greg B?
You'd be homeless without me. You know, that's how I perceive it.
Yeah, man. I mean, we pay their bills.
Get one of these guys in the... Let's do a discussion. Come on. Let's do a debate, bitches. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm saying something completely fucking different than everybody else, and no one wants to fight. Let's fight, bitch. Like, come on. Get somebody on the chat. I'm going to give it a minute. Hold on. I'll be back.
All right. Anyway, we're going live discussion here. You guys want to come and get in on some verbal fisticuffs with me and Kennedy. I mean, Kennedy's he's Mike Tyson. I'm Jake Paul at this point. I'm working on it, but you know, at least I'm not out there trying to take on, you know, Mike Tyson. Right? I'm trying to learn from Mike Tyson instead of talking shit and thinking that I deserve a fight with a former heavyweight champion of the world. Yeah, not me. I know my lane. I wish anybody was here, though. Greg left. Let's left. I think we made everybody mad, but you know what? That's good. Because when you upset people, you're challenging their way of thinking, and when we challenge each other, we grow. We grow. That's what having a friendship or any kind of relationship is about. It's about challenging each other. Yeah, Greg, if you want to hop in, man, feel free, dude. We'll entertain you. So we're challenging the way that auditors are doing their business, and even though we don't have a huge following, right? You don't have to be on video, dude. You can turn off the camera and just chat. You don't have to video. I'm using my avatar because I'm ugly and I'm old and I'm missing teeth, and I don't want to show my face until I get some choppers back. But anyway, feel free to jump in, man. You got the link there. You don't have to be on video, dude. Nobody cares about that. You're on mute, Kennedy. Yeah, there we go. So, I guess we can go on and talk a little bit more about Carolina. We got sidetracked, as we usually do, because my mind wanders, and then you challenge me and try to push me back in my right lane and stuff, and that's good. That's good, man. I'm growing as a person, I think. I mean, maybe not as quickly as I'd like, but I'm 56 years old, right? At least I'm on the right page.
I'm still in my 30s, but I'm not going to make it too much further.
Man, this
is your chance to get the information. It's not a shame. It's just I've made my personal choices and stuff, and I have no problem paying the penalty for the things that I've chosen or whatever. Or I guess they say it's genetic actually, but I don't believe these people. So
yeah, you like salt. Salt's good for you. Then a couple decades later, salt's bad for you.
They've gone through the whole gamut. And what I know is that my 92-year-old grandmother ate, like fatty gravies and, like legit food, but for back in those days, lived for fucking ever,
Yep. Yeah, my dad's, he's 77 this year. This year he's going to be actually 78. And he doesn't look a day over 65, man. Because he quit smoking when he was in his 30s. He quit drinking when he was in his 30s. He started working out and eating right, and
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do some good shit every once in a while. I haven't been able to work out in 10, 12 years. 12 years ago, I tried to run a half a mile or something, and I didn't get anywhere. I've done multiple half marathons throughout my life, so none past 12 years ago, though, certainly.
Yeah. James Morgan is in the chat. I think that he's the dude who got his car stolen.
That was John.
Oh, John. Okay, yeah. Well, hello, James. You guys want to jump in, feel free. Yeah, man.
We're talking about, let's hit some main points again. So, Carolina and Fort Worth's video. What's the problem here? Well, she and her friends are the ones that trained the cops that they can do anything that they deem reasonable. Reasonable. So, instead of her walking up and being like, hey, where's your warrant to seize me? Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Instead of that, she's like, oh, why? What's your reason? As if he could have a reason. He can't have a reason. He's a servant.
He's not qualified to have a reason or make a decision. He's
reason
just not.
Means warrant. That's what a reason from the Fourth Amendment means. It means warrant. It's not just anything that's reasonable. People think literally that the Fourth Amendment has been found unconstitutional, and it was replaced by Terry v. Ohio, and it was replaced by Penn v. Mims, and it was replaced by any stupid crap you want to bring up. And here's the thing. If you will stand under that, then yes, that is the law for you.
Yeah, you have to stand on your constitutional rights, period. You just have to be brave enough to stand on them. You don't say, oh, well, you're violating my rights. You have to articulate that.
Yeah, which right?
You have to express it. Right, exactly.
Fourth Amendment, right to be secure, unless you've got a warrant. And that warrant needs to be signed by a judge based on an injured complainant's sworn statement of damages. You're not going to be able to get a warrant even if you knew you needed one, you dumbass. But the thing
because there's no complainant. There's no injury.
That's correct. And because of that, no warrant may issue. No warrant may issue. That means no search or seizure.
Yeah, and probable cause is always determined by a judge. Always. There's no warrant coming out of a police department. They don't write warrants.
I smelled weed. That means that now I have probable cause. No, it doesn't. It's not that my dog smelled weed. That means I have probable cause. No, it doesn't. Actually, it just doesn't. You don't have a right to seize me at all. So any traffic stop is illegal unless they have a warrant. Stop means seizure.
Right.
A detainment means seizure. An investigative detention means seizure. An arrest means seizure. All of those things require a warrant signed by a
and
judge.
Without a warrant, without a warrant, when they arrest you and put the handcuffs on, it's immediately kidnapping, right? Because you're restrained.
Well, it would be
an illegal restraint or whatever.
There's so many ways of going about things, okay? So on the state level, you would go things like unwanted touching, for one thing. An illegal arrest is probably a state charge. If they move you, we're talking kidnapping. If they move you, that's moving someone.
Right. And you're always going to get moved when you got the cuffs on, because then they're going to start shoving you around. So it's assault in furtherance of kidnapping.
Depending on your state, it could be assault. Unwanted touching can be assault. It can be battery. It can be harassment in my state. And then there's like a disorderly conduct that it could go into that, which is like a disturbing the peace charge. And these things kind of meld together a little bit. But the point is, if he doesn't have a warrant, then he's committing a crime against you, because now he seized you. He used his emergency lights. Oh, what's the emergency? You don't have a license plate. Oh, is that an emergency?
Yeah, you have your window tint is a little bit too dark.
Is that an emergency?
You're not wearing your seatbelt. No. Yeah, is that where's the injured party in that? Where is there a pile of injured people that need medical attention because I didn't wear my seatbelt? No.
Even say something more serious, like you ran someone off the road. Does the cop know that that's your crime? He doesn't. He doesn't know. He doesn't determine probable cause. You may have run a car off the road because they were shooting at you or some shit. Like, he doesn't know. He needs to get the warrant signed by the judge, where the judge has gone over some sort of statements. People have sworn to it under penalty of perjury, and they'll go to prison if they lie. It's not hearsay when it's a sworn statement.
Right. So you run the person off the road and they make a complaint, then with a warrant, the cops can come to your house.
Could email this to the judge and get a warrant in 5 seconds, but they don't. Why don't they?
Because they're lazy and they think they can get away with it.
Because they can get away with it because the people don't stand up, just like how Carolina and Fort Worth is not going to stand up. Her lawyer, Grisham, I guess, he is going to argue, within 5 feet, within 10 feet, within 11 feet. It's like, he's not going to get to the point that this guy had no reason to search her or seize her. And he did both, and he cracked her head open because of his... he's so entitled. He cracked her head open.
Yeah,
and he didn't have a document giving him a right to do anything at all. So this servant took it upon himself to basically try and kill a human being, and you guys are okay with it. And she's okay with it, too.
Yeah, we're not living in a 12th century feudal society where the knights can get off their horses and beat your ass if you don't show them obeisance. This is the whole reason that the founding fathers did what they did with the Constitution, was to nullify that crap. Because, states throughout history have always done that kind of shit. And the founders knew that because they were educated and they had to live under that system, and they had enough. They'd had enough. And they sat down and they argued for a long, long time and fought and, had fisticuffs and over what was going to be in there, what was going to be in the Constitution, because they'd all felt it in one way or another, or witnessed it, visited upon their employees or their families, or just the community in general, because that's how socialism works. It hurts everybody.
Yeah,
except for the socialists.
Has the same characteristics every single time. So whether it's a king that owns everything, or it's a communist government that owns everything. It's the same. It's going to be the same characteristics. It's that you just obey anyone in one of our costumes, and they're going to want to do all sorts of weird shit, including looking in your kid's butthole. No one talks about that. That's why I honestly call these guys frauditors. Because if you're not going to talk about that, then you're not talking about shit.
Here's Dave. Dave was juicy last time he was on. He's a spicy critter, Dave. What's up, Dave?
Hey guys, you hear me?
What's up, Dave?
We hear you loud and clear.
Good. No, I just thought I'd stop in. Thanks for the invite, Kennedy. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, you shot one off to him. Good on you, man.
Or at least for the heads up, I should say.
Right. Well, everybody's welcome, but we like spicy, chili peppers in the chat.
Yeah,
it helps. But you said something earlier about, that the Fourth Amendment had, been declared unconstitutional. That is the most absurd thing that anyone could assume, that an amendment of the Constitution is unconstitutional that was written by the founders. Right? I mean, we make amendments.
No, I don't. I think I don't. I'm trying to sort this shit out, man. That's all. And I don't mean that it was if I said that or if I...
No. Oh, Kennedy said that as a byline. Like these people think that the Fourth Amendment has been ruled unconstitutional. Nobody made it as a statement of fact because it's not a statement of fact.
Who's making that claim?
Lots of people.
Anyone that cites Terry v. Ohio believes that Terry v. Ohio has actually taken the place of the Fourth Amendment. So that now the Fourth Amendment has been found unconstitutional by Terry v. Ohio, and that now what it is Terry v. Ohio. It's also Penn v. Mims. It's also any federal holding.
Kennedy, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've learned a little bit more since the last time we spoke, and I was unaware of this, but the courts, from what I understand, have the ability to shift during mid-court. Might be one of the techniques they're using, is to shift the jurisdiction, but primarily these courts are operating as equity courts. Are you familiar with that?
Equity means fair.
Equity, see, that's where you have to be careful. Equity in their terminology, in the terminology that they use, because they use legalese, right? They use their language to entrap us or to trick us, right?
They get us to consent.
So equity in their terms is means contractual.
Well, yeah. I would agree with that too.
Okay, great. So when you enter into one of these courts, the second you enter into that court, you're no longer considered a man or a woman. That's why these people walk in, they're like, I'm the man. Well, guess what? You already entered their court. You already showed up by standing there and showing up in their court. You've you've given them jurisdiction. Why would you show up to a court if you didn't have to show up? So you're kind of giving them that, quote, jurisdiction. So what I'm saying is in their eyes, the fourth.
No. They're gonna.
No. Hold on. In their eyes, what I'm trying to say is in their eyes, you're operating under maritime admiralty law, right? That's what they're assuming. They have, and there's this. They have a right to assume it because so many people walk around as, quote, United States citizens rather than citizens of the United States. It actually makes a difference. But if so many people are walking around as freaking slaves as the corporation of the United States, that they're allowed to assume that they're operating with another person, not a man, who falls under the contractual agreement. So in that case, literally the Fourth Amendment does not apply because they're operating in contract.
I have no clue what you're saying.
Well, what I think what David get.
Go ahead, Tom.
Hold on a second. So, first of all, the first thing that a socialist does is he redefines words to serve his purpose.
Yep.
George Orwell taught us this in 1984. If we didn't already know it from the Constitution or reading, the different papers that the Founding Fathers wrote, if we don't learn it from that, then George Orwell teaches us that in 1984, because that's a socialist system. It's the penultimate socialist system. You know, and the first thing that socialists do is they start redefining what words mean. You know, you can't just go around saying, well, equity means this and that and the other thing. No, it means one specific thing.
I'm not saying that.
I feel you. But
okay.
what I'm getting at is they are spinning a fiction, okay? That's all fictional, man. The only thing that matters is the Constitution. And those people, every single one of them that's in that courtroom, maybe even the stenographer, swears an oath. And the very first thing, I've gotten several oaths of office from places in Columbus, different political organs, and from several police departments. And the very first thing in that, I swear to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States. Always the very first thing in those oaths of office. When they get sworn in, that's what they swear an oath to. But
I think there's not like, I think honestly, I don't think they even have a official sworn oath to get around that. Like somebody, I was reading somewhere where they said if you actually FOIA request their oaths, there's something always, they're not using their God-given names, they're using their legalese names. So they're swearing an oath to the Constitution for the United States, the contractual one, because there's two constitutions. I don't know if you know that, but there are. And so
really? That's news to me.
Yeah, there's two. There's one for the people and there's one of the people. And the contractual one for the corporation in the United States is literally a contract between the United States and the states itself, I think. But all of it, like you said, is a fiction. It's all bullshit, right? It is. It is. And so the question then is like, to me, it's like, there's not much really to discuss anymore. It's like the 10th Amendment Center I've been watching a lot, and or no, I know who it was. Mark, what's his name? Passio. He was like, knowledge, I've said this a long time myself, and he's like, knowledge without action is like useless. We
exactly.
We already know there's something. This is wrong. So us even sitting here talking about it is just more talk. It's like, at what point? And by the way, common law. How would we handle this guy who roughed up Caroline? How would you handle it without a court system right now?
Well, we'd posse up with citizens, and we'd go arrest him. We'd make a citizen's arrest. We would seize his person and remand him to the sheriff.
No, he's saying in anarchy. Is that what you're saying, Dave?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether it's anarchy, because I am starting to have a problem with any man having authority over another man.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's right. That's the right way to think. Until you've harmed someone by depriving them of property, rights, or their physicality, you beat somebody up.
It's just
injured. Yeah, injured.
Yep. You might be facing civil, or you might be facing criminal.
Right, but it's still, there's still crimes.
And I think there's a big word in there, and you have to have intent, right? You can't, you accidentally harm somebody. There's a big difference between that and willfully
it would
doing
probably be a civil issue if you accidentally cause damages.
Right, you'd have
criminal.
Right, the injured person would have to state that it was an accident. It wasn't on purpose.
So my question is, at what point, wouldn't this be the perfect quote case to get 100 people to go to his house, or 1,000 people, or whatever, to go to his house and be like, we're the people, we're taking over. Okay. At what point do we do that? At what freaking point?
I would say probably don't do that, because there's going to be chance for physical violence and stuff like that. What it is
he's got an army. Yeah, he's got an army behind him, so sure.
No, don't do anything. We'll talk about it.
No, you got to just turn that army to be yours. And the way you do that is you file 2 different criminal complaints. One with the federal government for things like deprivation of rights under color of law, kidnapping.
You're going into their fucking system, man. They control it.
No, it's our system.
No, it isn't, man.
It is. It's only
That's
not
your
our
belief,
system,
though.
Right. It's only not our system because Dave doesn't think it is.
Here's how it's not your system. Okay. Here's how it's not. They control the lower courts. They're under complete and total control. No.
Listen, you have no idea what would happen if a righteous, indignant complainant goes into court. You don't know what that looks like because you've never seen it.
Nope.
You've never seen a person actually standing on their rights. They always pick some stupid bullshit to stand under, like Terry v. Ohio, or they're constantly.
If the second they fall, they're literally entering equity courts when they use. If you're going to use their apparatus, which is the statutes. Statutes are a construction of their fiction, right? The fiction created their statutes. Of course they did.
It's a 10th Amendment right for the people of states to make laws.
Those are not laws. Those are statutes. There's a difference, right?
They're
statutes.
Statutes, yeah. There are statutes. Mostly statutes are just a reference to laws, though.
Can a statute override the Constitution?
Of course not.
Of course not, right.
But you have to be the one that stands up and says, no, I have a First Amendment freedom of press, and that means that your 8-foot rule doesn't apply to me because I'm press, and I can't be seized without a warrant, so that means that it doesn't matter if I'm 5 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot, because I can't be seized without a warrant. You don't have an injured complainant to get a warrant.
I get the look. I get the whole equity court thing. I understand that, but that's when we participate in that, we are complying with the socialist just us system. Yep. Okay, that's why when you go in, you
equity
stand.
Means fair,
right? But I'm talking about the socialist definition that we're that Dave
matter,
is talking
okay?
about. No,
it
right?
Does not
because
matter.
they have to honor. They have to honor the Constitution.
The American is going to go in there and they're going to stand under whatever stupid shit anyone says. So if the prosecutor says Terry v. Ohio, it's reasonable, then it is. And the lawyer's worthless. He's not going to object. If the cop calls it a lawful order, he's not. No one's going to say anything about that unless it's going to be you. But that's the thing is people are just like, dude, even the best of us, like Chili, are like, I need to hire a lawyer.
Why? Can I ask a question? Why do we not have the ability to band together and go and pick this dude up ourselves?
Why would you want to? Do not cooperate with Americans. They're fucked up people. Don't cooperate with them.
Let's say you had 500 real people who let's just
play
a mind game.
Arrest him yourself.
Well, I don't. Well, certainly you don't want to do it as a one-off. I mean, if you could do that, we would all do that.
I don't think you ought to tackle him, even if you do have 500 people. I don't think you should take care of this.
What I'm saying is the reason why I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that what is stopping, quote, the people from managing the law as we have a God-given right to do that. You don't have to use a freaking court.
I don't get why people want to attack a guy rather than, because here's the deal. You guys will not
attacking him.
No,
you're not talking about arresting a person physically? I thought that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, we're not there yet. Because here's the problem with the American, is that when a crime is committed against them, they let it pass. You don't need to be thinking about attacking people for committing crimes because you guys can't even admit that they are crimes. You guys can't even admit it.
Okay, look, in Carolina's case, okay, it's a clear First Amendment violation. And then there are clear Fourth Amendment violations because they seize her, they issue her orders, which they cannot do without a warrant. They issue her orders and then they arrest her illegally. And then in furtherance of kidnapping is also the arrest. And all of it's while armed. So those are a shitload of really serious crimes against Kruger.
Can we levy a criminal complaint on behalf of another when we just
I don't think you should do that, but yeah, you could.
I'm just asking. We can.
You could. You can be as creative. You can be as creative as you want. Okay, a crime like treason affects everyone. In truth. Okay, so if they take part in any
TDP and write it up.
Well, you could, but do you know?
I'm game. I'll pay.
But here's the problem.
It's not going to cost anything, dude.
If you make a bad,
it costs $400 or so to file in federal. They have it all figured out how to stop everything, man.
You could also file Informa. What's it called? When you are a
indignant or whatever,
vagrant or a beggar or something. Informa, pauper. Pauper. You're a pauper. Informa pauperis, I think.
So you guys want to do that? I would love to. I mean, shit. I will. At some point, you know what I mean? Like, it's action has to be taken. Otherwise, it's like we will talk until we are 100 years old, because nobody wants to be a freaking martyr, man. I certainly don't. I enjoy my life. You know what I mean? I don't want to be no freaking guy who steps out and then gets his head cut off.
Yeah, you shouldn't go around starting these fights. We have a law and order system. Carolina in Fort Worth needs to be the one, and she needs to file 2 sets of criminal complaints, one federal, one state.
Carolina is probably mind controlled, man. Like 99% of the people, they have been mind controlled. It's not their fault. I don't believe. If you're a victim of mind control, you're literally
Doc. Everything is going crazy on your end.
Is that me? Oh, that's Doc. Okay.
Doc, your sound is. Oh my God.
Is it better?
That was the worst thing we've ever dealt with, where it was like pop crapple. It was just like fucking crazy.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what I did. It's all good now, though, right?
It's good.
Okay.
Okay, Dave, what were you saying?
What was I saying?
You want to do action.
We want action. And to hold the people accountable. Bro, the more, like, I've gone over the mind control aspect. I have on my phone, I have it here, but I went out during COVID, man. I'm sorry, I don't mean to take off topic here, but just for 1 second, the aspects of mind control. These are techniques of mind control. You won't be able to see it, I don't think. Oh no, you won't. But just listen to this. Fear. They use fear. They use division, confusion, isolation, peer pressure, repetition, dependency, finger pointing. Right? Every single one of these, when you think about it, you can identify them so quickly. Isolation, right? Isolation. Oh! If you're for the Constitution, right? Now you're a sovereign citizen. They're isolating you. That's another form of division. So I'm just saying that the average American has been subject to such freaking levels of mind control that they're unaware of. That you can't hold those. I don't think it's fair to blame them and call them stupid. They were freaking mind control.
Well, they just basically what it is they don't get right.
They were mind controlled to not believe, to not understand it. By police, guys in costumes. Why do the police wear the same a costume?
Okay,
because
so
some authority.
So, Dave, let me give you a hypothetical here, man. So we have a horse in a pasture, and he's trained to stay inside there. One day you leave the gate open, and the horse stands by the open part of the fence and looks at it and knows that he can go out there, but he's been told not to stay in there. There is, at one point or another, in every reasonable, rational, mentally stable adult's mind, where that open gate is no longer a barrier and you step out.
I don't know.
It's a conscious.
I don't know,
dude. It's a conscious choice, man.
Is it?
It is.
Is it? Why? So you're telling me
if you can't make that
why you're awake and other people aren't? I mean, have you even considered the shape of the Earth?
I don't care about the shape of the Earth. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that the Constitution, which was written for all of mankind, not just for Americans, is being trampled by these assholes, and everybody has been lied to. Yes, that's true.
They've kept ignorant of the Constitution, man. They're
really right, exactly. But whose fault is that when there's a book on the shelf that you can pick up and read?
Bro, whose fault is it? Let's say you can barely pay your bills. You got a family. You got major problems putting food on the table and keeping up with the Joneses. You've been mind controlled to keep up with the Joneses, so you have a car payment that's way too big. I'm just saying, there's so many levels of the mind control that work against them that to expect to wait for those people to partake in this is like insanity. This is it. We're talking right here, the three of us, let's say. we have the ability, if we have the ability to file a federal freaking lawsuit and bring it to a real court on this dude, why are we not doing it? I'm fine. Like I said, I'll pay. I don't care. I'll pay. Just as an experiment. Why are we afraid, Kennedy? Why?
Because you don't have damages.
It's a violation of the Constitution, man.
What are your damages?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I am not the I am not a living person willing. According to the Fourth. Gotcha.
Whoa, hold on. What? I'm saying, how were you damaged?
No, I am not a living man willing to the Fourth Amendment says in order to get a warrant, see somebody, you need to have a signed sworn testimony of somebody who's injured. I'm not injured, like Kennedy's saying.
That's criminal.
You
could. Hold on. You're mixing two things up. There's criminal law, and there's civil law. Now, an injured victim might not have a criminal situation against you, or you want to sue this cop, Kruger, but you haven't been injured by him, so you don't have. So if you go into court and say, I want to sue him because he violated the Constitution, then they're going to say, how did he hurt you?
Right. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, okay.
Right.
So is there a way for us to do it? Or what you're saying is it's, go ahead.
There's got to be a way to write it so you're at least somewhat injured by it. I'm injured by it because I had to watch them on this video beat her up with no reason. What we saw was an act of imperialist, fucking colonialist brutality by a redcoat, man. That damages me emotionally and mentally. It's traumatizing.
I do. It does. And you kind of fear for your own safety if you were to do this. It certainly stops you from wanting to go out and quote audit the police. So possibly there's a circumstance, but I don't know, man. That seems a little weak.
I think that you would have a better time saying, this man is a criminal, and it has violated me because I live in America, and if our servants are committing crimes against us, then that's everyone's problem. It's my problem. I would say that you'd have a better time saying he's guilty of a crime than you would of getting a civil lawsuit. I'm not big on civil lawsuits. Cops are going to give you.
I don't want to do a civil then.
You want to press criminal charges.
I'm very confused though right now. Guilty of a crime. How doesn't that fall under the Fourth?
No,
the cop. He's talking about cops, right? They don't have cops. Don't have rights, man. Cops don't have those kind of rights when they're on duty. They just don't.
I want to take him as a man.
So the Fourth Amendment is that a person is secure in their person's house's papers and effects unless there's a warrant. That warrant needs to be signed by an injured complainant. Yeah. The judge determines probable cause. So it does fall under the Fourth Amendment, but if they've injured someone, then they're no longer secure because now a warrant's going to issue.
Right.
Does that make sense?
The Constitution is written to protect us against these people. Okay? And when I say us, I mean we the people. We're all in this together. You know, this thing that we have here that's called a constitutional republic that is now become something completely different. We still have that. We just have to make it real again. That's all. You know, and we do that by making these kind of complaints against the people in charge who are committing crimes.
Can you tell me what would be the difference between going after this dude civilly and criminally? What is the difference in filing procedure in your mind?
Well, okay, so civil means that you are seeking monetary damages. So that could be in something like small claims court, or it could be in a higher court. I think that magistrate does not do civil. It has to be a circuit, district, or
Doesn't even matter. We don't want to go civil. We're not interested in money, right? That's all bullshit.
You can be interested in money, but what you should really focus on, to me, is the criminal complaints.
Yeah.
Because once you file criminal complaints, then they're going to all start conspiring against you and everything. And every time you get a deprivation of rights under color of law, that's a federal lawsuit. Or a conspiracy against rights under color of law. That's a federal lawsuit. And then anytime they violate any of your state rights, then you've got a state tort, or you can do sometimes you can just do a notice of claim where you just tell them that they owe you money. Say, I could do that right now because last time some SWAT guys showed up and attacked somebody around here, they drove over my yard. So I can do a notice of claim, which is a tort against the state, and just essentially send them the bill from the landscaping people that have made a bid. 2 bids. And then I can just send a notice of claim. That's a civil issue. It's just going to be decided administratively. And then there's above that, there's district courts, circuit courts, and whatnot. Right. And that's civil. Now, criminal is going to have a criminal law there, like rape or something. I shouldn't say that, I guess, but
it's too late.
But like a real crime, armed robbery, is going to have a law that says, going into a store and demanding money with a gun or something like that, right? And so that's a crime. That's not just a civil, I'm going to sue him because he stole $600 from me, because it falls under, now that's a crime, it's armed robbery, right? Does that answer your question?
Well, further for criminal, then what are the aspects that I could file? And like I would have to go along what Doc was saying in terms of some form of emotional / loss of my own particular rights. I mean, to file this, I think that would be really strong if we were to freaking start a stream on this and figure out a way to go after this guy criminally and do it as a group of people.
Here's why I disagree with being an outside party getting involved. Here's why. How do you know that Carolina and Fort Worth will be a complainant? Because she's the real injured complainant. She's really the one that needs to be standing up talking in front of the jury.
And I wish we could talk to her.
Why can't we not talk to her?
Well, we probably could. You could email her. Her email's public. I've emailed her.
She's already screwing herself. She's already screwing herself retaining the guy who's, I think, a bar attorney.
Yeah, he is. He totally is. He says he's a civil rights attorney, but he's not.
So, I mean, at that point, she's already, she's got to lose that if she wants to have any chance of doing this.
Well, she doesn't have to lose it. She just needs to stand on her rights on her own and write a criminal complaint with damages for all the different violations. Every single amendment that they violated needs to be a separate complaint.
Needs to be those need to be a federal complaint. And then the state laws, which are things like assault or battery or stuff like that, versus violating constitutional rights, that's federal. And then the state laws are things like battery or kidnapping, things like that.
He's using that was using color of the law, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be considered too?
That would be on your federal side.
Federal, yeah.
And you would say deprivation of rights under color of law, and then you'd say conspiracy against rights, because they're all going to collaborate, right? They already did. And
they already have.
Even the prosecutor has proven to be a part of that. Could 100%. You be a criminal complainant? It's possible. Okay? You kind of have to get creative. You have to say that all Americans are injured by this conspiracy, which is true. That is true.
Crime against one is a crime against all.
But that's, is it? Listen,
it is.
I have tons of rights because I can be trusted. And I know that within myself, and I'll just tell the cop that I can be trusted in the way that I'm going to invoke my rights. And the truth is that, yes, I can be trusted, that I'm not going to be stealing gas from somebody's tank or something like that. Like, that that's the point of that. I don't know if I'm coming across there, but You have prove that you're the complainant. Truly, you really want to be the injured complainant.
Right.
So, what do you think? I mean, I could send off a giant gift basket to her. We have a business, family business.
Send her my book. So send her my book.
I'll send your book. A gift basket, and be like, and reach out to her.
You know what?
I need to get her a freaking address, so I have no idea what her address is. So
let me tell you, the number one thing we can do to help her is to inform her that she doesn't have an injured complainant.
Well, that's what I'm trying. Well, what I'd like to do is because I don't know if you understand how bad it is when you retain an attorney. You're literally giving up your rights.
Well, no, you're not. What you do with an attorney,
you're giving up your rights.
You're
bro.
not. What you're doing, no, let me tell you how to work an attorney. I'll tell you. No one knows this, so that's why I know to interrupt you. I'm sorry to be rude, but
no, go ahead.
Okay, here's how you work an attorney. You have a entire email listing off all of the violations. So, for Caroline in Fort Worth, she had a right to assemble, First Amendment. She had a freedom of speech, First Amendment. She had a freedom of press.
The problem that I think is that when you stand up in court using a bar attorney, the court asks, is this attorney representing you? And when you agree that the attorney is representing you, the attorney is saying that I'm representing you not as the living man here anymore, but as the fictional all-cap name.
Now,
you immediately lose your rights.
Now, that part is irrelevant. What is relevant is the things that you've already... No, it's not. What's
let me ask you this. It doesn't matter. Wait, let me ask you this.
No, I'm going to tell you what it is.
All I'm going to say is this.
Stop.
Rather than her having an attorney represent her... use counsel and pro se, and she is herself.
She should definitely do that.
Presents herself, not represents. Well, it's so important.
Listen, it's not important. It's a word game. It's just called semantics.
It's their court.
It's not a legitimate thing.
It's their rules.
So what it is that you tell the lawyer exactly what your arguments are, and then if he doesn't address those, then you can have an appeal immediately, based on your own lawyer and his contact, because he's inadequate counsel, and he can't.
Well, this kind of falls under this, Kennedy. This kind of falls under. I don't know if I remember my cousin who's sitting in federal prison right now. That falls along the same lines. To me, he had ineffective counsel. His rights were not not defended.
Can he prove that he told his lawyer to do something and then the lawyer refused?
Does it matter? Because I thought. No, wait, hold on. I thought our rights were unalienable, unalienable, right?
Right.
You can never forfeit your rights. Well, he somehow was forfeited his rights. So that, to me, means that he was not properly defended.
I believe that today he can invoke all of his rights.
You do.
And he still has them all. However, in court, he did let it pass. He didn't tell the lawyer what to do. Well,
unknowingly, out of ignorance,
right?
That means he wasn't. That means his lawyer failed to tell him that, hey, you have rights here. I mean, that's a big failure in my mind.
Then
anyway, that's off topic.
No, it's not off topic at all. It's on topic. It's that he needs to list that. Is that I had these rights, and then this lawyer didn't tell me about them. That makes him ineffectual counsel.
Correct.
And that now I need an appeal because I had all these rights. I still have all these rights.
So that sounds like a real, and I can see my problem is speaking with this dude. Like, they're like, if you chat with him, they're listening in on the conversations, and if you start to play around with appeals and stuff, they can kind of hold it against you while you're in prison. You know, I mean, it's kind of.
I wouldn't worry about it. Just get it, man. They don't care what paperwork you shift back and forth.
Yeah.
All they care about is getting paid.
I just don't want his sentence, because he's down to like 10 years to get worse.
Yeah, he needs to be invoking these rights that he's had before. He needs to be pointing out that his lawyer didn't help him in this cause.
Okay, so back to Caroline. She would be the reason why I think she might be a good
case.
A case, would be she has a fairly good amount of exposure going on between James Freeman and all these other people that if you were actually to handle the case in the proper manner, it wouldn't be civil any longer because everybody always goes civil. It's fucking depressing.
It's stupid.
They all go civil, and it's time. Once you go criminal, that would scare the shit out of these freaking criminals walking around in costumes. We've been started.
Man, this whole Carolina incident could be a watershed, a huge ass watershed, because it not only has it gone national news, it's worldwide on news outlets, okay? Not just on the internet, it's on news outlets. It might not be top story, but it's a watershed moment if it's done properly. Because
what does that consist of? What does it look like being done properly?
Criminal
Kennedy.
Start with, it's criminal complaints, 2 sets of them. One federal, and that's going to be deprivation of rights under color of law, conspiracy against rights. It's going to be things like press. I have a right to press.
Hold on. You're speaking too fast. Let me write this shit down.
You can. This video is published.
Section 240.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Okay, good. Keep going.
It's all in my book, too. Treason. So that's federal crimes. You're going to want to do things like she has a Fourth Amendment right not to be seized without a warrant. She can't be searched without a warrant. The judge determines probable cause and signs the warrant, not the cop. So the cop is constantly pretending like, oh, I'm in charge. I'm the boss around here. No, you're not, asshole. It's a elected official, a judge, and he's got a legal education. So that means that when he's looking at a case and he's like, there's no injured complainant here, it's that he's got the knowledge, the education to know that this can't possibly be a crime or even a civil action. There's no person standing there being like, it's him. He did this to me. It cost me this.
You would agree that if we go that route, if Carolina goes that route, she's gonna need a lot of money.
Zero money.
A lot of money.
No, you don't spend any money on this socialist crap. All you do is you file your criminal charges, one with the FBI for federal, one with the state. Any sworn peace officer can take your complaint, and when they refuse, when they collaborate, when they act like you're not filing a complaint at all, that's a dereliction of duty. Go ahead and add their ass to the list.
You're talking about a criminal complaint, or are you talking about?
All criminal. Yeah, you start with criminal.
So doesn't criminal complaints go through the judicial system? Meaning I'm saying that you may be filing this complaint 87 times if you get, at least to appeals and shit. If you get judges that are going to want to protect the cops like they will, you're going to have to go through court 3 times before, and that costs money.
No, it doesn't. You're going to have 87 different counts of deprivation of rights under color of law. Okay? You're going to have 87 violations of the 14th Amendment with just equal protection under the law. 87. So when you go ahead and do a civil lawsuit, by the time you get to the end of this, we're talking about $100 million. We're not
just trying to keep it criminal first. That's why I kept it with the criminal part.
Yeah, you keep it criminal first, but you can only expect one thing out of the socialist, and that's to collaborate. They're a bunch of scumbags.
That's why it gets expensive.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
No, that doesn't cost you any money.
They're going to play this out. They would play out our criminal shit for the next 5 years. Yeah.
Why would that cost you money? You just go into court.
Well, you're saying I'm doing it all alone then.
You don't need a lawyer to do any of this, man.
No, yeah. This is all
I
done
guess you could, but then
no.
Changes,
This is how the law was written, so everybody can use it without relying on any kind of a standardized political system.
Yep.
Okay? The Constitution doesn't cost money to invoke. And that's what we're doing. We're invoking our constitutional rights, and our constitutional rights say those people are committing crimes against us because we have this right called the Fourth Amendment.
You're invoking them in a criminal court, though, which has procedures.
It's part of the criminal complaint. You know,
then you got to have to take it to court at some point, which have certain procedures. Now you're playing by their rules.
You're the complainant. That's easy.
Did you file your paperwork by this date? You can't bring that up before. You have to follow their procedures. No.
The state is going to prosecute for you.
You're right. We're not going in on trial.
Okay.
We're not the ones that are accused. We're the complainants.
Even better. Why would the state pick up any of these charges when they never do? Right?
They're
going to reduce it to
protection under the law.
Listen,
it's not
man.
a thing that they do. Cops break the law all the time and beat people. They don't get penalized for it.
Doc, I think your sound's out. Yeah, but that's because we're not holding them accountable. We let them.
But how do you hold them accountable?
Yes, we don't get to decide
it's like
what
a big
charges
circle.
are filed against them.
No.
That would be up to the district attorney or the state's attorney or somebody, right? We don't decide that. We're going to ask for these charges.
You can listen, if you file charges, if you file charges, then the prosecutor says, I'm not going to pick up those charges. Now you've got an instant lawsuit against the prosecutor.
We're out of criminal court again.
No, civil is civil lawsuit.
That's what I'm saying. We're out of criminal court. The game in criminal court, I don't really see where that part's
You could do both. You could do both. You could do dereliction.
You have to do civil, yes. And
dereliction of duty is a crime.
I agree.
So you can file criminal charges on them.
Ever prosecute.
So what? Then you keep getting more and more lawsuits. Where, dude, it's like they will literally snowball a disorderly conduct into literally $100 million lawsuit, and that's the point. Do it, like keep doing it, and they will continue to snowball.
On the federal level, that's $450 a pop if we're doing on the federal level.
You can. It depends on your income, actually. I don't have a high income, so I'm just gonna file in forma pauperis, which is in the form of a pauper, which means I don't have to pay anything. But if you have a high income that you've been claiming on your federal tax returns and stuff, then
it ain't got to be high. Everybody.
Well, guess what? If that's what, and that's what, if you're the man, then you don't have quote income. Income is an IRS term. You have compensation, so that none of that would matter. Also, so I'm telling you, the legalese does matter.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it does.
Yeah. All right, so anybody know her channel? What her channel name is?
Carolina and Fort Worth.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get the link for it and put it up in chat. You guys keep talking.
They got. I don't know if you saw the video. You saw the footage. They got the camera footage now, the body cam and the pole footage.
It's irrelevant. There's no warrant.
I got it.
Yeah, he's guilty no matter what.
No matter what, he's guilty. There is no extenuating circumstances that you could possibly claim. It doesn't exist. The only way that this man, Kruger, has a right to arrest her is if he leaves his position as a cop and places her under a citizen's arrest.
Why do you say that? Why doesn't
because he doesn't have a warrant.
Oh, we're going by the Constitution, okay.
Yeah, there isn't nothing else matters, man. The Constitution is the only thing that matters. Everything else is just this socialist fiction. It might as well be a George Lucas movie about a dystopian future called THX 1138. It might as well be that, because the Constitution is all that really matters. It is the supreme law, not only of the United States, but of the entire planet. Okay?
We are in agreement.
I got her email right now.
Yeah. I just texted her. I got her number if you guys are trying to get in touch.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
I've talked to her before about this. Before any of this ever happened.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Well, she needs a refresher.
Like she literally doesn't like it. She just feels like, no, the Supreme Court makes the laws. And I'm like, lady, no, Congress makes laws. Supreme Court, all they can do is say, like, yes or no. They can say convict or not convict. That's literally all they can say. But people believe that they've created these new laws like Terry v. Ohio.
Okay, so you guys are absolutely correct. But in order to win this lawsuit, it has to go by 12 jurors or a judge who is not going to decide in your favor. And these people believe the things that CFW believes.
The judge is going to determine in your favor because judges are bound to our law. Okay? And you may need to point this out.
What nation do you live in?
You may need to point this out, but this is Article 6 of the Constitution. It's the Supremacy Clause.
I know.
So
I mean, I shouldn't say I know, but we're in agreement, but it doesn't work in the real world.
No, you're going to have to make them. You're going to have to make them do it, and if they refuse to do it, you might have to arrest a judge. I would say something like contempt of court.
This is why I kind of go back to saying we need 500 people. I agree, because this is how they win.
Do it.
They would string this thing along for the next 5 to 10 years, and what have we done? Nothing.
Went broke.
And even if you do get the criminal, even if you do win in the end, let's say it takes 5 or 10 years. 5 or 10 years from now, guess what? They probably have already clamped down another.
And made more laws, even more stricter.
Yeah. We'd be under. It would be more tyranny.
These laws you're talking about are all null and void.
We know.
Anything that
we know
violates
that, but look at reality. Reality is they don't give a fuck, man. They don't care.
Well, listen, Carolina is the one that's been training these cops. Manuel Monta just had a criminal complaint against this Kruger, and he didn't file it, did he?
No.
They don't. That's the point.
They refuse. They refuse to really get involved in the fight, and the fight starts with.
No, they're ignorant. They don't know better. They don't know better. And also, they might be dangled the money, and they go, "Oh, let's go after the quit." This is a short thing. You want to go after everyone. This is what they told Mike. Exploring again. He has. They busted down his door in Hoboken during COVID, and because he didn't send his kids to school. Anyhow, first thing the attorney wants to do is the civil. Oh, the criminal? The criminal could take you 5-10 years. They turn you off for the criminal immediately. Right. That's the way they operate.
That's not really the case for most of these auditors. I think your ignorance was a better argument. Most of these people don't file complaints. Certainly don't even file lawsuits. That's just a select few that even
With
do
criminal
that.
complaints, you have a right to a quick and speedy trial. And that's really under a year, even though my state, Oregon, they say it's 3.
Right, but what I'm saying is they're going to put you through the ringer of the lower level courts, which are all operating under equity as opposed to common law.
It's irrelevant. It's not relevant because they have to bow to the Constitution, man. They have to, or else their positions
this will be a great
do not exist.
I don't care. You're right. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you guys are right. I don't think I'm wrong, man. Let's hopefully we can get a hold of it.
They're right constitutionally, but it has been so far trans-warped and all of that shit. That's why they don't let you tell about jury nullification. That's why it's damn near a crime. They don't want these people enlightened. They keep them in the dark.
Correct.
Because these are the people who pass judgment on us.
Let me give you an example of the system that you're talking about. We've all been to carnivals. You walk behind the sideshow and behind any of those attractions, what do you see? Trash and shit from all the animals. Okay, this is the judicial system that you're talking about, Dave. That's the facade, when the reality is it's a bunch of shit and garbage behind that facade. It's all trash that needs to be cleaned up, and this is how we clean it up. We get these people wound up in as many charges and civil litigations as we can possibly manage. We got to get paper on these people.
The other guest said you have Caroline's text number. You have a phone number?
I do, yeah.
Maybe we could. Is there? Have you conversed with it at all? I'm sure she's pretty busy with a ton of people going.
Yeah, we've been texting. We got a group text with Wrights and Rogue and a bunch of the Florida motherfuckers. And she's been in that with us. And
is there any way she could come on this show and speak with Kennedy?
I could.
And talk?
I could ask her. I could tell you that it's highly unlikely, but
See, that's like weird to me. It's like
it's not. She doesn't. It's just.
She's hurt, man. She's fucking injured, bro.
Maybe privately, then do it with Kennedy. That way, I mean, because he's knowledgeable about the process. So that would be important, I think. I don't think she's going to be aware.
I could probably set it up. Kennedy, I'm going to have to trust you and put my number in the back chat because I hate searching emails and all of that bullshit.
No, I'll tell you what. Hold on before you put it. Don't put it in the. Yeah. Oh, okay. You already did, didn't you?
No. Earlier, I was backstage waiting. I don't think
you can. Yeah, you can send it to Kennedy's email, and then it's private.
Right.
It's absolutely we can.
That's if you want to do that, Kennedy. I don't know, but to me, you're the most knowledgeable here on the.
Oh, I think we need to help her because we can definitely get her off of this. This is not. It's not debatable. She doesn't.
I'm not talking off. I want the criminal aspect. To tell you the truth.
Well,
you guys
we'll get
know
her off.
She just
We're gonna do both.
Yeah.
and then we're going to get a civil lawsuit on federal and also state too. We're going to do all of it.
She already has counsel. You have to overcome that.
No.
You missed that part of the conversation, apparently.
No, she just tells her lawyer what she wants done. So step one, if we get to court and I don't have an injured complainant in the courtroom, I want you to object and move for dismissal. With prejudice.
Of all charges, period.
Yeah,
yes, with prejudice.
With all charges.
Everything.
Because there's no injured complainant. So step one is just to get the case dismissed.
No,
having counsel doesn't change anything.
No. Carolina needs to become the injured complainant. She's the one who was
that is true. She needs to, but I still think stepping into court like as if she steps in there and is quote represented, you're going to see very quickly that it's going to go bad in that direction for the lower courts. And you're going to have to appeal them.
But it's a squire, and you need to use your lawyer like your assistant, and you need to tell him exactly what rights you're
in writing.
You're arguing.
He'll probably drop her. Uh-huh.
No, he'll win the case. That's what they do when they can't get out of it.
You know they're beholden to the court first before they're
And one of those
client.
things the court requires them to do is bring everything forward. And if they don't, then they are inept. They are what's it called? Ineffectual.
Ineffectual counsel. Right.
I just hope that you could chat with her just for a moment.
Kennedy, I've talked to her before. She's not impressed with the Constitution. She's not impressed with the Supremacy Clause. She wants to go in and argue.
Maybe she's a bad case then.
She wants to go in and argue case precedent. That's what she wants to do.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Hill to climb if you know her personally. Dude is right. This is a tough hill to climb. It's not like she's open to these ideas.
How about the previous guy who got hit by the same cop?
Harvey?
Manuel Mata?
Yeah.
Put a gun on Manuel.
Assault, aggravated assault or something like that. Yeah, he could still file, I think. You've got a year or two. I don't know what it is. It's a felony. There might not ever be a statute of limitations on that. I'm not totally sure. You don't want to check
Texas, you got 2 years to file.
I mean, honestly, this shit happens every day. All you have to do is go to Here's the Deal channel, and you have 5,000 people to choose from as to whose ass has been kicked.
Right.
And by the way, if you do a civil, if you after a civil case, you can still do a federal, even if the civil's.
I think actually. Okay, so let me try and tell you what I have heard or what I believe. So I think, first off, the criminal is going to be the first thing that needs to be dealt with. And then after that is going to be the civil. And now I think the federal and the state civil cases can just be run at the same time. So once in a while, you'll have to go to the federal courthouse. Once in a while, you'll have to go to the circuit courthouse.
Do you think the criminal will have any bearing on her on her lawsuits? Usually, if you lose in criminal, it hurts your chances of winning. If you win in criminal, it gets you more.
See how she could lose.
I don't think that's true. Think of O.J. Simpson. He lost his he won his criminal case, and then he lost his civil case, and he had to pay the family.
You're just giving me one example, and we know those exist. Let's try to speak in generalities. Generally speaking, if everybody tries to win that criminal because it helps them, now they're set up for the civil afterwards. That's a real thing. I'm not.
Well, if Carolina will simply convert herself into a criminal complainant.
Yeah.
And demand her Sixth Amendment right as soon as she walks into that courtroom. I have the right to face my accuser. Can you produce an injured complainant?
Well,
where's
as soon
the injured
as the
party?
trial starts, that's the thing you can say. Also, I believe you could bring that up at the arraignment, which I think she's already gone to, and probably let it pass.
She's not. In my opinion, she's not in that court for her charges that are against her. They're not against her living being. They're against her freaking all caps name, man. You guys are not following that, but that's fine.
Does it matter?
I understand that it doesn't win in court either, right? Everybody tries that in court.
Give me 2 seconds, guys. Go ahead and continue.
Yeah, everybody tries that in court, man. Is this criminal court or so and so? Is that flag at fringes? Where's your jurisdiction?
I'm with you on that.
Everybody tries it. Why would she be successful in there?
I understand. No, but that's kind of what I'm saying is that it ain't gonna work though. Asking to see the complainant. Because they're going to say the state is the complainant. That's what they do.
The state cannot be the complainant.
They do it every day.
We know, but they're going to say that. Yeah.
That's what they say every fucking time.
That's not the way things really are. That's not reality, man.
It is. No, that is reality.
No, it's not reality.
So what has to be done, dude? What has to be done is that you don't bother with the lower court. You don't even bother with them because it's not a real court. It's an equity court. All this shit has to be taking place in an actual at a higher level, which I don't even know if it truly exists anymore. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it has to. It has to. And, man, look, the people that you see going into court who claim that they're standing on their rights, they're spouting that nonsense about maritime.
It's not nonsense.
Corporate. It is nonsense, dude.
Your mic went out again, Doc.
Yeah.
It's nonsense because the Supremacy Clause says it's nonsense in way more many words than that. Okay? But nobody seems to understand that out here. And when you stand on your constitutional rights, you actually have those rights. When you don't stand and you argue maritime and equity and all that crap.
Wait, hold on, Doc.
You have a great argument. I'm with you, Doc.
Doc, I agree with you that there's somewhere there's actual law. But when you go into a lower level, especially any of your town courts, those courts, you just pretend that you're boarding a freaking ship, and the ship has different rules than the land than on the land.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because it doesn't matter.
But that's what's taking place. It doesn't matter what you're doing. How do you think that the state always, when they say, well, I want to face my accuser, and they go, yeah, you are. It's the state. The state is against you, and all the people who live in the state are accusing you of this. That's what they say, like every single freaking time.
Good. Let me see their face. It's
bring them into court.
According to the Constitution, I get to question my accuser, so put them on the stand right now.
Yeah,
that's right.
It won't happen.
Yeah,
Let's make a fucking show. Let's have a circus.
The state doesn't have a face. All these innumerable people.
If you do that, they're going to like from what I've seen. The problem is if she's being represented, then she's given them jurisdiction, in my opinion, man.
There's an argument by just by walking into that courtroom, she's giving them jurisdiction.
By going into the court, you've given.
There is an argument.
Why not? Why not? You're acknowledging they have power over you, bro.
And that I'm willing to play by your rules. You have the power. I'm gonna play your game. All that walking in says a lot. And then did you drive in? Oh, you're a participant. You're a citizen under us. If you drove in and you have a driver's license, it's all really suicide. You can't. It's hard to stand on truth and on honor in their system, and then say you're separate, as Doc is saying, and say no, I'm separate. I don't fall under these things.
That doesn't
Bullshit. Work. You've been getting paychecks from us, and you did this.
You're
whatever.
Using
you
our
fall
licenses.
under our system.
Yeah, and the system is that you can't be seized without a warrant.
Yes.
The system is that you can face your accuser. The system is that you have a right to press, and that you
traded those in on those contracts. You traded those in for the privileges of all these.
Oh, when you signed the contract, you traded them in. I love it, bro.
No, that's not true. Contract
inalienable.
Give up your rights.
This is they operating under plausible deniability. So what they're saying, their whole thing is that that shit exists, but they're saying that, oh, well, we know that you saw, by the evidence that you've provided, you have a driver's license, you file taxes, you're part of our corporate system. You have to follow our freaking laws,
David,
which is why you
no one is going to ask me any of those questions in court, and I'm going to just have the case dismissed. I don't know why you think all of that stuff is relevant.
I'll watch. I would love to see it, man. I want to see it.
Yeah,
Bro, it's been done a bunch of times. Anytime.
No, it hasn't. Filming.
It has not been done a bunch of times. Anytime it's been done, everybody talks about it because it's so fucking rare. Me and everybody I know follow it looking for one victory. We haven't found one that's made it all the way through court and was proclaimed a victory. Not
I trespassed cops off my property.
They're never going to freaking acknowledge
I got 70
they have to follow
views.
the law. Right? So they just dismiss that shit quietly after they say they're going to fucking go after you with a warrant. And then the next thing you know, the charges disappear. Right? They're not going to put it on record.
They're not going to be able to get a legitimate warrant. There's never going to be an injured complainant in any of these cases. None of them. In traffic cases, there's never an injured complainant. You can do this every time. In drug war cases, you can do this every time.
Be right back.
Where all you do is you object based on your Sixth Amendment confrontation clause. You want to face your accuser. Where is he? He's not here, so I'm going to move for dismissal. And this is going to work every single time.
It didn't work. I got it on tape. Well, the court part I don't have on tape, but I got a buddy who just tried it. The video I was editing before I came here, it's over traffic, driving with no plates. He went up there and told exactly your argument that you did. The first day, the judge told him, no, sit down. I don't want to hear it. He didn't sit down. He kept talking.
Did he move for dismissal?
No, he didn't get a chance. 2 police came, threw him on his head, busted his skull, and he went to the hospital. So the next time I went over there for trial with him, I sat in the courtroom.
I would love to see this.
The video will be out. I'm editing the video right now, so I'm slow. So maybe
really, what it's going to come down to is that he didn't get his rights invoked. And if he did, now he's got appeal grounds.
Yeah.
So whatever the court comes up with, it's not going to matter because as soon as they read the transcript, if he invoked his Sixth Amendment confrontation clause and moved for dismissal, then it'll just be dismissed at the next higher court.
Eric Brandt, you're familiar with Eric Brandt?
Yeah.
He went and did it. I got this one on tape. They let him record the audio. He said the same thing. You got to prove jurisdiction. You don't have jurisdiction over me. And
that's not the same thing.
Well, it's not the exact same argument, but
jurisdiction is really like a location thing. And if you've committed a crime in their location, then you are probably under their jurisdiction.
There's personal jurisdiction too. Though. There's multiple jurisdictions.
Yeah, and that's it's a long argument. But it's the same. It's along the same lines. The people who use the argument you use, they also say I'm not under your jurisdiction. I know. I agree. It's not the same.
He's not.
I agree. It's not the same. Okay.
He's not under their jurisdiction because they don't have an injured complainant. So yeah, that part's true. But then you need to say, I'm invoking my Sixth Amendment right, confrontation clause right to face my accuser, and I'm moving for dismissal if you don't have one.
I don't think he moved for dismissal, but he did the other thing. He invoked his right and said it cannot be until jurisdiction is established on the record. This court cannot proceed according to the Constitution or whatever fucking rule. And they still somehow managed to get past him and went on with his case and decided on its fate.
I've beat a case on jurisdiction, but it's because they didn't even list an address where this alleged crime took place.
So
it's a totally different thing. You guys, Dave, I feel like you're wanting to have these magic words that remove a complainant's ability to press charges on you, and that's never going to be the case. The law is always going to be that if there's an injured complainant, no matter what you say about jurisdiction or any of this other stuff, that you're always going to be bound to actually deal with this court. And the thing is, though, now you need to figure out how to beat this court. You need to find out if they had a right to seize you in the first place, because it's your Fourth Amendment. You need to find out if they had an injured complainant. It'll be an affidavit of probable cause. Okay? Just like in Carolina and Fort Worth's case, there's not going to be an affidavit of probable cause.
Let me ask you a question.
There's going to be a witness statement by a cop, no complainant whatsoever.
But check this out. Why in the hell, if you were working in a just system, would a prosecutor go after you in the first place without a fucking injured party?
Right.
if you were working in a just system. We're not. We're working in a socialist.
Well, that's
takeover.
what I'm saying. So you're expecting to have justice take place when the freaking prosecutor who's coming after you isn't even following the Constitution himself.
I love
what?
It's your job to beat him, dude. Why is that a problem? Isn't it easy?
Because he's not playing by the rules.
Yeah, he is.
If he's not going to play by the rules, and if he's not forced, well, how the hell is he bringing a charge against you without an injured party in the first place?
Well, because you didn't object to it and move for dismissal. Yeah.
Yeah, or make yourself the injured complainant. Make yourself the complainant when you go to court. Go for that, confrontation clause, the Sixth Amendment. Produce the injured party. Produce the complainant.
Tap y'all heads.
If you don't have one, I'm gonna be the complainant. Here's the charges.
Give me some advice, Doc. All of y'all, but Doc, you made me think of this. In Texas, I'm in the same state I'm in Chicago, but I got 2 tickets and a paraphernalia, a bowl that you smoke weed out of. So I'm fighting those 3 things in Texas.
There's no injured complainant on any of it.
Right.
What do you suggest I do? My court date is in about a month. What do you suggest?
You invoke your 6th, move for dismissal with prejudice.
Are you saying that he should go to court?
Yeah. They're going to...
You're crazy, bro.
Doc, your audio's off or something. No, you're going to have to go to court, because if you don't go to court, then they're going to revoke your bond or something.
Wait. There's another method, though. What about asking? Are you familiar with prima nisi courts? What is it? What's a Prius? Nisi Prius court. You can literally write the court that this is, and ask the court and put it in the what do you file a notice before your trial, and that so you notice the court that this is a nisi prius court. It's a contractual court, is it not? And then they have to respond that yes it is, in which case you're now dealing with contract law, and then all you do is ask them to see the contract. Where's the contract I signed that I have to follow your contracts?
I'm writing down Nisi Prius.
Look into Nisi Prius and watch the video by it's on my channel. It's I'll tell you who. Hold on, I'll tell you who it is right now.
You're talking about building a nuclear reactor to power your blender, so you can make a
I'm talking about
milkshake.
You don't have to waste your time going into courts. You just notice them that we know that this is a contractual court. So before you can proceed, show me the contract that says I have to follow your fucking rules. It's that easy.
You
then
live
you don't
there,
have to go to court.
Don't you live in the state that has all of these laws? Or whatever?
True. So the problem is they can't. If they say that that's the contract.
Didn't you agree to live there?
They can't put that on the record. They can't put that on the record. That's
So listen, the state that you're in has a law against robbery, but you chose to live in that state, and now you robbed someone. And now you don't think that you should be... You think you should just go in and say some magic words, and then you don't have a complainant that's standing there saying... But
you filed previous, you got a complaint there, the guy who robbed you, and they put that shit on record. Who's the complainant in the other ones that they're going to put on record? And I heard the state. Who's that complaint that they're going to put on the record?
Well, the state's not ever going to be a complainant.
I'm going to give you this. Watch this video for 2 hours. I'm telling you this.
If it takes 2 hours, it's not worth watching.
No,
I'm just going to tell you.
It's a 2 hour long video. It doesn't take 2 hours, but you can gain insight.
No, you can't. Listen,
sure you can, man.
No, you're trying to say that if you robbed someone, that you will get off it by walking in and saying "Primi Nisi."
No,
you won't.
No, I'm not.
You'll go. Dude, there's only one place for people that are robbing people,
and that's in the chat, in the private chat. Listen, what he's saying. Listen. When you're dealing with the lower courts, you're dealing with contractual courts. So that's it. You might be looking like that straight. Well, the fact is that they cannot acknowledge on the record that these are not real courts. They don't want to acknowledge that.
They are real courts. They have jurisdiction over you.
You have all your rights. You have all your rights in a real court?
Yeah. Judges are bound.
You've never been to court.
I've been to court and beat them every time. At least on felonies. Yeah, I always beat them.
On felonies, right?
Sometimes you might want to just take a misdemeanor.
So you've actually gone in. So you actually go into the court. What I'm saying is that, from what I understand, is that the whole objective is not to enter into their court in the first place.
Listen, man, why is that, that's a fast track to prison.
Why is that wrong? Why should I have to spend a second of my time in their court?
You live there. You've already agreed. Okay, Dave, you're in Florida. You've already agreed to all their laws. If you don't agree with them, then you need to leave Florida.
You mean to their statutes or the laws of the Constitution?
To the laws that will apply to you. Which I'm a sovereign citizen, so I'm very specific.
The Constitution or that are under the Constitution?
All laws are under the Constitution. But some laws don't violate the Constitution.
So
and they can exist. A state can have a law as long as it doesn't violate your constitutional rights.
Right.
And then you're bound to that law.
They obviously are. They're telling him he can't drive around with a bowl of weed. He can't. Where's it say in the Constitution you can't have a bowl of weed?
Well, what it says is that you are. Okay, someone's got some static on their audio. It's going crazy. Doc, is that you?
We know who that is.
That's terrible.
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah,
I think it's me.
It was.
Better now. No, it was Doc. He's better now.
Okay.
He's good.
Okay, so they say you can't have a bowl of weed, and you want to know what laws in the Constitution talk about that. Okay. First Amendment, freedom of religion. In Genesis 1:29.
Happiness.
And
but they're not recognizing that in these lower courts, bro.
God damn it. Dave, you're not getting it. You need to invoke this shit. Stop playing fucking games. Honestly, you are the one that needs to invoke this shit. Have you ever watched a person go in for smoking weed and say it was my First Amendment right? No! Because Americans are fucking garbage, okay? They're not going to stand for any of their rights. They're too fucking stupid, okay? All right.
Actually, they're going to go in, they're going to say it was my First Amendment right. They're going to say, well, we have a law against it. It might even be a code just for our small-ass town, a municipal code, and they're going to win in court.
Yeah.
No, you have a First Amendment right to your freedom of religion. Any law that tries to violate your religious...
I think is in there. Smoking weed makes me happy. I think that's in there.
Yeah. Specifically, it's your religion, though. You believe in it. And it's listed in Genesis 1:29. So it's in the Bible. So it's definitely a religious function.
What's the difference between... Wait,
so
Kennedy, I don't see why you're...
Wait, God damn it! Hold on. Shut the fuck up, Dave! Get to the fucking point. We've got freedom of religion. Then we've got Fourth Amendment, right to be secure in your person's house's papers and effects. Is that your property? Your weed? Yes.
What's the difference?
Shut up! You have a right to be secure in that. A right to be secure. How are you not going to be secure if they have a fucking warrant? What's that warrant based on?
Well, guess what?
Stop,
Wake
Dave!
Wake up! You're not secure, obviously. You have a right to it, but the right's been fucking violated day in and day out.
Fuck
what
you,
are you talking
bud.
about,
I smoke weed, and I've been all around the United States.
What are you talking about?
This is what I'm talking about, bitch. That's what I'm talking about, bitch.
Probably 1,000 times a day, people are busted for drugs.
Fuck
probably
them.
more.
I don't give a flying fuck about peasants. Fuck you. Dude, if you will not go into court and say, I have a right to my property.
What I'm saying is, why are they violating people's rights then?
Because you'll let
because we let them get away with it, dude. We let them get away with it because we don't stand up.
Right. But so what I'm saying is, it's all bullshit.
No.
And so what I'm saying is, I'm just saying you can play against their bullshit court in a different way. I prefer not to go into their court in the first place. And if this works, the Nissi Prius says, show me the contract. They cannot show you a contract. If they show you the contract, then everybody's going to see that. Oh, these are contracts that they're making us sign. They can't acknowledge that that's what they are.
The jury's gonna laugh in your fucking face.
No one's. You're not gonna be there, bro.
Convicted. The jury's gonna laugh in your fucking face. They're gonna laugh at you. They're gonna have no idea what you're even talking about.
Doc, I'm telling you, watch the video I linked in the chat. You'll see.
Don't watch.
I'll give it 10 minutes.
And you too.
I'm gonna go watch it now. You cats pretty much just arguing with each other anyway. I'm trying to watch some of it. I got to get my day started.
I mean, I just cite laws actually, so you guys can come up with your made-up nonsense all the fuck you want. Look, you're the ones that you guys are the ones that trained Carolina in Fort Worth to teach her cops to be so stupid that they just beat the shit out of her. Okay? And it's because you keep believing that arguing about some fucking gibberish in court is going to get you somewhere. It's never going to get you anywhere. At all.
Wait, whoa. That's not why cops are beating people up.
Yeah, it is. It's because you can't beat them.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, it is. No, you train the cops that they can do anything that they deem reasonable. That's what you train them to do.
They've done this. They've done this slowly.
Yeah, because you let them do it.
20 years.
Yeah.
But you say, but the fact is that the people were mind controlled. Whether they,
I don't care about excuses, man.
You're going through obedience. You're going through obedience indoctrination over 12, 15 years, where you're
now you're useless. Go sit in a cage.
You're mind controlled. Yeah, you're mind controlled.
So go sit in a cage then. Who cares? Who fucking cares, dude? I don't care if every American's rights are violated. It means nothing to me.
That's a problem.
You need to stand for your right.
Let me put it this way, Kennedy. You being awake, your obligation / responsibility is to kind of be the sheep herder.
No.
To be the protector of the sheep. Yeah, of course it is, bro.
I will teach the person seeking knowledge how to get the knowledge. It's written down. You just read it, and then you start believing it, and then you enforce it. It's really simple. You don't need me. No one needs me.
You don't think that there's a sheep out there that after they get their ass whooped and they start to wake up, then they can fall right into your hands and learn from you. Even though that they don't know any better, they're now prepared. They're now ready. They're ready to join our team. You have to be there and basically embrace these people as opposed to calling them fucking idiots. Man, I was an idiot.
No, get real with yourself. Figure it out.
Not even that long ago.
No, dude, you're still totally lost. You're going to get your fucking ass kicked if you go into court. I'm just telling you, man.
No, I wouldn't be going into their court.
You will get your fucking ass kicked. And then if you refuse to go to court, they'll just revoke your bond and throw you in jail.
How do you know?
Do you know?
Have you ever done it?
Do it. Yeah, do it. I fucking dare you.
Have you ever done it? Have you ever done it after filing notices?
Yeah, I've done it all.
Dude, you have no idea. When they send you their notice to you to appear into their court system, they're not sending it to you, the living man. It's a contract. All they're asking you to do is, do you want a contract with us? And you're stupid enough to believe them. That's not my fault. That's your fault.
How exactly would they send me a notice, Dave?
They're going to send it to your freaking whatever address you gave them.
Why the fuck would I give them an address?
Well, so the same here.
I wouldn't either. You, dude. If you give them an address, pay your fucking ticket. Suck it up. You're a bitch. You're a loser. You deserve what you get.
Right. So we both ended up in the same spot. I wouldn't do it either at this point. All right, let me ask you this though. They got your address. They got you. When you drive, do you have a driver's license?
Yeah.
So now you're driving. They pull you over for speeding, and he says, "I'm going to write you a ticket. Do you have a registration and a license plate or not?"
No.
No. So is he going to write you a ticket or not in that instance?
Who would he write the ticket to? Dave, I have a Fourth Amendment right to be secure in my identity. So who the fuck is he going to write the ticket to?
Your car isn't registered or plated up?
Who cares? That's not proof of the driver. No, actually it isn't. It's not proof of the driver.
Well, it's a contract if you're driving. I believe they view it as
it's not proof of who's driving the car, what the plate is. Who would they send a bill?
Yeah, no, I'm with.
If you're going to give them your documents, then pay your fucking bullshit. Pay it. Yeah. You're a slave.
Oh yeah, like if right now I'm driving around with a car that's plated up and tagged up and registered. If I get pulled over, I'm going to do everything the guy tells me to do, and then I'm going to pay the freaking ticket because I've literally agreed to all the terms of their rules by driving around in a car that's quote, I've given ownership to them.
Dude,
total compliance. You are a model American, Dave. You ain't trying to change nothing. I'm just being real, bro.
Can you put that
If
a
you're
different
gonna
way?
Is your
that
car,
bullshit-
do you drive? Do you have a driver's license and a registration and a plated car, Doc?
My driving situation is different. Okay, the car is not in my name, but I have permission to use it, written permission to use it. It's registered, it's plated,
Okay.
and it's
So
insured.
if they pull you over, have they pulled you over? Have you ever been pulled over recently?
I've been pulled over, I don't know, 8 or 10 times in the last 5 years with no ops whatsoever. And guess how many tickets I've gotten?
I'm interested.
0.
And what have you been pulled over for, and how, and what was your method of Havana? That's very interesting.
Well, I start talking about my constitutional rights, man. You know, first of all, 4th Amendment, 5th Amendment,
Yeah.
1st Amendment,
Yeah.
6th Amendment.
And the cop just
10th
says,
Amendment.
"Okay, I'm not going to write you a ticket."
Dude, as soon as you start talking about amendments and your rights, they just want to leave. It
Did you
makes them-
video any of these, man? You should videotape them. You'll
No,
be a hero.
because I wasn't really. I okay, look,
You're
I'm
like
not.
the first person who's ever done this, I think.
No, I doubt it. I doubt it. I
They're-
highly doubt it.
I've
Because
seen that.
look,
people do it.
yeah,
People
it's
do
done.
it. It's just that, dude, YouTube doesn't push this stuff.
No, they don't want
with
anybody
a, with
to
a
know this.
licensed, tagged up car, registered.
Whatever.
Driver license.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Dude, I've been pulled
you
over.
can have
I've been pulled
tags
over
on
for
your car. I don't, because I just don't want them to cheat. I know they're gonna cheat. They'll cheat against you. I don't want to give them an excuse to cheat. How it's going to be easy for them to cheat.
Yeah, because
I
your
don't
license
have to
plate.
provide information that will be used against me. It's my 5th Amendment. I'm secure in my person and my identity. It's my 4th Amendment. But
Yep.
yeah,
And
even
the
if you have
license
a
plate
plate,
Would you say it's easy process? I mean, could you go? Why not videotape a few examples for me this afternoon? Then it's easy, right?
well, why don't you call my cops and tell them to pull me over then?
No, I'm asking Doc.
Because every
if it's
time
so
I drive
easy,
around,
I'm being sincere.
Yeah,
I would
well,
love to
every
see
time
it, but
I drive around,
I
it-
only believe what I really can see, or I need evidence. I can't just take your word for it. Could
Well,
you just drive down
that's
and
fine.
could you do that for me?
tell them
That-
to
yeah, I'm
pull
not.
me over.
Look, man,
I don't know what to say.
I'm not ever going to go looking for trouble to satiate anyone.
But
or to
I'm not
prove
asking
anything.
for that. I'm asking you not to satiate, but is it easy to do or not?
Look, man, just do it. When you get pulled over and he asks you for your ID, you can prove it to yourself. I don't have to prove anything to you, man. You can do it yourself. When you get pulled over, you say, "Where's your warrant, man?" I'm a free person. I'm a citizen. You don't have a right to seize me. And when you get pulled over, that's a seizure. You don't have a right to seize me without a warrant. You want to proceed further? You know, then get a warrant.
I don't want to call you a liar, man, but I just have
Well,
a.
no,
He
you see
can't
that?
be lying.
Look, man, no, wait,
Hold on, Doc.
hold on,
Doc. Just hold on. He can't be lying. He's telling you just what's written in the law. Now, you can choose to believe that, or you can choose to believe something else.
No.
The cop
I'm not.
may choose to do something
listen,
else.
What he says, what he's saying, I'm obviously I'm quite aware of the 4th Amendment and the right of.
Obviously not.
No, I am. The problem is in reality,
They send
practicing
you
that
bills.
in reality, if it, like, literally, let me put it this way. If it was so easy, I could hop in my car right now, speed down the street at 80 miles an hour, and then use that with absolutely no fear, right? You want to guarantee me that that's going to work for me or not?
Yeah, sure.
I wouldn't.
You guarantee it.
yeah.
You're not going to pull me out of the car or nothing.
If
Look.
you don't create an injured victim, which you probably will,
Why would I? Why? I
why
haven't
wouldn't you?
injured
You're
anybody
doing
in
80
53
miles an
years.
hour.
53 years. What?
Yeah, 80 miles an hour means that you're
80
probably
miles an hour scares you?
in a
You're
city.
afraid of 80 miles an hour?
In
Yeah.
a city, or maybe on the highway, I guess. 80 is
Wherever.
it's fine on the highway, I'd say. Yeah. And yeah, every single time that's going to work for you. There's never going to be an injured complainant. These are our laws. It's already written down.
So I don't understand. If it's so easy, why wouldn't you just prove it out 100 times on video
Why
so
would
we
I?
could?
I arrested a cop.
Why
I got
would you?
70 views. They're not going to tell you anything that means anything. All these videos that you watch
there's
that have 50,000 views.
Kennedy, there's a difference between you initiating the action and the cops initiating the action against you. There's a big difference, bro.
No, there isn't.
There is.
No.
Of course there is, man.
But I've driven for 9 months without a license plate.
Yeah, there's lots of people
who drive drugs in the park.
Yeah.
I mean, what a fucking joke that you're even bringing this to me. I've already proved it. I already filmed in a courtroom. None of you can do that. I do everything I want. Can't you tell? Like, can you honestly
We don't need to
tell?
get permission. Look, here's the thing, Dave. I think, all the times that I've been pulled over, okay, have all been bullshit reasons to get pulled over, except for the loud exhaust. But, I hit a fucking deer, okay? So my exhaust is a little bit fucked up. Where's the injured complainant ever going to be in that? I mean, it's not like I was sitting down in front of a kinder care revving my engine while they're trying to have nap time. Then certainly they could complain against me because I woke up all the little kids and pissed off everybody, gave them headaches, whatever. It's always been something that you were speeding. I got my cruise control set at 53, man. Like, do you have a warrant for pulling me over in the first place? I have a Fourth Amendment right against that sort of thing. Furthermore, I have a Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate myself, so I'm not giving you my ID for 2 reasons that are in the Constitution. 2 laws that are in the Constitution that say I don't have to incriminate myself, nor do I have to give you papers or effects or person or property without a warrant. Okay? And as soon as you start talking about amendments, they're gone. They're gone. Well, okay, then don't try it, man. Don't try it.
No. I mean, the only way I cannot believe that this is true, because if it's this easy, people everywhere, of course, everyone will be utilizing that.
Well, all it takes is to be able to read. So no wonder Americans can't do it.
Bro,
it's sad, but it is funny.
Americans can read, bro. Like, I mean, you're being so obnoxiously.
No, that's not true.
When
I started college, we had in literature class, we read a Death of a Salesman, and that's where I realized that even college material, only about half of people can even fucking read.
Well, whether they're reading and comprehending, that's a different matter. But
you don't even know the Fourth Amendment. You're an old man. Give me a fucking break. Dude, just give me a break. Like, it's written the fuck down. This is not
in very simple terms. The Constitution is written in very simple terms. Mm-hmm. It's not confusing.
It's just
it's really straightforward.
You refuse to go into court and be like, hey, I was secure in my identity. Oh, he demanded my identity. Well, yeah, but I'm secure in my identity. Unless he's got a warrant. Because you guys don't do that shit in court. You guys want to argue about whether you're a fucking citizen or not.
No, I wouldn't even enter their court. That's where I'm at now.
You're gonna lose by default.
Why is that wrong when it's not a legitimate court? It's
legitimate.
A tribunal. It isn't. It's a freaking tribunal, man. They literally will tell you it's a hearing. It's an administrative hearing. That's not a court, bro.
If you get to the end of it and you invoke all the rights that you have, and you get convicted of something,
I don't want to go to the end of it. I don't want to play in there.
No,
it's because
you're guilty. And we don't give a shit what you want because you're guilty. Do you get it? We don't care what you want.
Guilty of what?
Of whatever. If you get to the end of it and you get convicted because you didn't invoke any of your fucking rights,
I don't need to.
It's because you're guilty.
You don't need to. You don't need to attend. It's a charade. That's the part where you're not understanding.
Okay, so that's your fantasy. Go ahead and cite your proof. Cite your law. I'll get ready to goddamn laugh. I'll get ready to laugh right in your fucking face.
Why would they even Doc? Why would they even have you in there in the first place? Right? If they're you follow what I'm saying? If you have your rights, if you have rights under the Constitution, why would they even play? Why? It's all a charade, bro. The whole thing is a mind game.
Well, I have had this theory, and Kennedy actually verbalized it, that every interaction with a cop or a judge or a prosecutor or whoever you're talking about, the socialist in the equation, who's not me or you, we're not socialists, we're I like to consider myself a conservative fiscal.
I consider myself a free man.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Those people, they are public servants. Okay, man. Look, the whole court exists in the first place because of the Constitution. Okay, those people have their positions because the Constitution made it mandatory that we had those positions, and they've converted it into something that they want. They've converted it into a fantasy. You talk about you're not seeing the reality when what you're really talking about is a fiction.
Correct.
Okay, what you're talking about is a fiction, and then you refer to it as reality. Do you see why we're confused and angry a little bit? Because you're confusing reality with fiction.
No. The reality is that the court is a fiction. That is the reality.
Right, and the reality is,
why am I going to argue these quote rights?
How is the court a fiction?
The court is a fiction because it is no longer operating as it was intended under common law.
And that's why we have to insist.
In equity.
Dave, that's why we have to insist that they conduct their business in that courtroom in a constitutional manner. We have to insist on that. And if the judge wants to go in a different direction or tell you to shut up or whatever, you're in contempt, Your Honor, you're under arrest.
They're not even you realize those aren't even judges, though. Those are magistrates. Those people aren't even they're just workers who are masquerading as judges. They are not actual judges. That's another point. These people are not even freaking judges in the lower levels. They are not.
They are judges.
All of them. What?
They're acting in a judicial capacity.
They're acting as judges. Acting.
They're elected judges. They're judges.
So every judge acts as
judges. They are not under the I guess the lawful term of a judge. They are not judges.
What you're doing is you're trying to fight the ref. Savage, you got your audio all jacked up again.
How about now? Is it better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're coming against the referees. And you need to use them as referees, not cry about it. What you're doing essentially is that when you live here, you're agreeing to be a participant in our laws. Okay? And if you live in Oregon, then you're under the jurisdiction of the state of Oregon. And if you commit a crime here, that you can be brought before a judge, that's 100% legitimate.
Of course. I don't understand why you're not understanding my position.
Because you don't have a law that says what you're saying.
Just like you always say, statutes are not laws. I've heard you say that a ton of times.
Well, they could be. Listen, a city ordinance could actually be the law, as long as it doesn't violate any of your state rights or your federal rights.
And how many of those ordinances fall under that secondary part that you just said, as long as they don't violate your rights? How many? Most of them?
95%. Especially traffic laws, drug war laws. Once you start getting into aggravated assault.
They restrict your freaking freedoms. They're just rules. Yeah. They restrict your freedoms now.
Yeah, well, now you've created a complainant. Now you don't have.
Oh, but wait, go back. The statutes we just spoke about. You just said 95% of them don't violate your rights.
Yeah.
I would argue it's the exact opposite.
Yeah, so would I. If you take them on their face, man.
Yeah, that's what I said. If you take the traffic law citations and stuff, and then you take the drug war stuff, then 95% of that at least is illegal.
Correct.
But then there are some other things, like say armed robbery.
Yeah.
That's a state law. And it has.
I know, but I mean that's what. But yeah, of course, it's common sense, bro. In fact, I forget who said it. It was great. But the whole point of common law is kind of like it's common freaking sense. That's all it falls under. That because it's simple. Yeah. That's what it's very. That's why there's only.
You're using a term like common law that doesn't have a real definition, so that's not going to work. We don't need common law in America. We have our rights. Right. It's already enumerated.
They're natural.
That's common law.
But they're actually above. But I would argue it's above. You just have natural God-given. And somebody, what's his name? Passios, he says, what are rights? What is the definition of rights? Right. Right is the ability. I think his definition was the ability for a human to do any action as long as it does not harm or injure another human.
Well, what a genius. We already have rights. They're enumerated. Freedom of speech is a right. Right to assemble is a right. You secure without a warrant. That's a right. Yeah. That's what the common law is here.
But meanwhile, the lower level courts are their whole business, which is all it is a business, is derived upon violating people's rights, and yet you would take the time to go into you won't. You're right. You won't. Would you actually go into that court?
You're being threatened to go. You have to go.
No, you don't, because they're not threatening you. They're threatening the all caps name that represents you, that was issued to you on your birth certificate. That's the part you're not understanding.
No, the part you're not understanding is that you think you can murder someone and claim that you've got all caps name somewhere, and that means that you don't have to go to prison. That's what you're not understanding.
Listen, you're so, I don't understand why you cannot Doc, do you understand what I'm talking about or no?
I understand what you're talking about, but it's also fiction. It's fiction. It's a fiction made up.
And what I'm arguing is
can I just have a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, listen. The whole straw man system, I know exactly what you're talking about. This is one of the things that kept me from learning the truth about what's really going on. Okay, the straw man system was set up so that whenever a person is born and gets a social security number or a birth certificate is registered with the government borrows a certain amount of money against that straw man. So what it is it's socialism. It's crimes on its face. That's a crime right there in the first place. To try to convert us into something that we're not is a crime against us, okay, and unconstitutional in probably 10 or 12 different ways in the first place. So, it's unconstitutional, and therefore it's a fiction, period. That's how I look at things now. It's either reality.
So let me ask, so the lower level courts,
I'm not talking. I don't care.
Wait, what I'm saying is, though, that the lower level courts, how are they operating? Are they operating on the fiction, or are they operating on the man?
It's up to you. You need to make them honor their oath.
Right. And then you need to make them observe the supreme law of planet Earth, which is the Constitution.
The way you do.
Period.
The way you make them be judges is that you're going to invoke your actual rights. You're not going to go in there and sit there and just be quiet while
you're not going to get that in a lower level court. Period. You will not have it.
I will.
There is no.
You won't.
No,
you won't.
I will. They certainly.
I'm going to force them to obey the Article 6 Supremacy Clause.
How can you force them when you're not? How can you force them when it's not in their jurisdiction? It's not their jurisdiction. They have no right. They have no rights. What?
They're in my jurisdiction too. I'll arrest them for contempt of court.
I'm actually agreeing with you, but I'm just agreeing with you coming from a different direction.
Well, then why? Why?
Because we're arguing the same point from two different angles. Yeah, we are. What you're just not understanding is that the lower level courts are just they're like not, they have nothing to do with criminal
That's your choice.
With common law. They have nothing to do with common law. With what the law of the land was originally.
You either invoke the law, or else they can ignore it completely, and you don't invoke the law.
But
so they ignore it every time.
Yeah.
But that's your fault.
But
you're consenting.
But the problem is that if you invoke the law and you've already walked into the court, they are going to try to argue whether they're successful or not.
Why are you always predicting what these people will do? They are bound to the laws of our country. Okay, so you invoke your goddamn laws, and then they're bound to it.
Not if you're in their jurisdiction. They're not bound.
You're not listening, Dave. The supremacy clause. Okay, it's 100%.
I hear it. I of course, Doc. I understand. I'm just saying.
All jurisdictions, I have the same rights.
In actual practice, in actual practice, what they're going to do is they're going to run you through the ringer and try to have you, at least they're going to find you guilty, right, of some fake shit. Then you have to appeal it. You have to appeal it and appeal it until you finally get to a court that will finally say, all right, this guy ain't giving up on his rights. And so they're going to make you go more than likely run the ringer. There's a million different ways it can go, I think.
Right. But, yeah. Well, if you have to appeal to a higher court, the transcript is going to show that you invoked your rights, and it's going to start from there. Yeah. It's not going to start like your lower court.
But the fact is that they're going, like, none of that is a process that anybody really wants to have to go through. Period.
Well, then you don't deserve your
time. It's a waste of your time.
Yeah, it's a waste of your time to invoke your rights. Okay, then there's a cage.
Whoa! Stop putting words in my mouth.
That's what you said without saying it.
If I say, hey man, you're guilty of bothering me, some bullshit law that I make up, right? But I'm going to hold you to it. And now I want you to respond to me. What are you going to tell me? I don't want to waste my time with your bullshit. It's bullshit. It's the same difference. It's bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit, dude.
Well, yeah, but look, they're committing crimes.
Well, you just agreed with me. Then it is a fucking waste of time.
No, it's not a waste of time because they have committed crimes against your person. And if you don't want those rights, there's a cage with your name on it. Get in it and shut up. If you don't want to stand up and pass your citizenship test, then you can get the hell out of my country.
All right, so fine. So I'm going to tell you you're bothering me with some bullshit law that's my personal law that I've made up, and then you don't want to take the time to respond. So I'm just going to put you in a cage, and I have the right to do that. It's the same difference.
The judge is going to take that complaint and he's going to find probable cause or not. Now, if he just made up the law, then there's not probable cause there.
Bro,
so you won't be found.
95% of the people sitting in prison today are sitting in prison.
I agree.
For no reason.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, they're sitting in there for a reason. They're sitting in there because the socialist has got them in there, and they're making a profit off of them. Okay, there's a stock you can buy. Hold on, Dave. Hold on a second. Hold on. Quick stock tip for everybody. Because Americans refuse to stand on their rights, you want to invest in Core Civic stock. That's the prison system. That's the privatized prison system that's making a profit for all these socialists. So go ahead and join the club and buy some stock in Core Civic. Just go ahead and commit yourself to being a collaborator and a trader. Just go ahead and do that. That's what you're doing when you don't stand up for your rights and insist on having them and invoking. You're basically a collaborator. You're a passive collaborator, man. I'm not saying that you are, but
no, I hear you. But listen, the problem is though that when the whole point of fraud is to perpetrate it against somebody who is not aware of the fact that they're being taken advantage of. So you're literally holding guilty people who just didn't know better. That's insanity.
Well, I'm the author of a book called...
The people who are guilty are the criminals who are fucking running this place. Period. Not the people who are in prison because they belong there because they're either ignorant or were mind controlled or both. Please stop.
I wrote a book called
they belong in fucking prison.
Well, the thing is, I wrote a book called Treason. It's about the public servant. It's an indictment of the public servant. And yes, they are traitors. They extort us. They defraud us. They do everything under the sun. But now, you going into a court knowing that, you need to do better for you. And that's
you're the
only.
Don't go anymore.
Well,
don't go. Wait, let me ask you. Wait, hold on one second, Kennedy. Hold on. What happens if nobody went to court anymore?
They'll just arrest
for bullshit.
You. They'll just
so they're going to arrest the entire. They're going to arrest the entire country. I mean, how many people have to go to traffic court each week? Do you think in a town? Probably 100, couple hundred.
I think it's something like 5% yearly or.
So 10%. You're telling me they're gonna just start putting 5% of the population in jail every other week? They can't do it. Just stop going. Why wouldn't everybody just stop going? Why? Why not?
They're just going to find you guilty, and they're going to put it against your license, and then...
So who cares? Who needs a license anyway?
Well, you don't
need
a
license.
Who needs it?
Yeah, who needs it? So why can't you just do that?
Well,
ignore them.
What's
wrong with ignoring them?
A truck driver needs it. These commercial guys.
Right.
They need them.
Sure.
But honestly, why not just go in and say, I don't have a complaint, I move for dismissal?
Because again, you're giving power to fucking criminals.
No, you gave
They're
them power.
Criminals.
You gave them power.
You are.
You're the one.
You're telling me to literally go into a criminal.
God damn it, David! You're fucking pissing me off. How the hell did they get you in court?
They didn't.
By you handing over your ID.
You don't go. You're cowering in fear. Oh, I'm scared they're going to go come after me.
Dave.
What are they going to do? Come after the entire population?
Stop. The reason you're on the court docket is because you're a fucking bitch and you handed over your license and you deserve to pay. You deserve to pay. That's why. That's why you're on the court docket.
Who cares? No, wait, hold on. Wait, Kennedy. Wait,
Jesus Christ.
I know you know everything.
David, shut the fuck up. You have a right to be secure in your documents. Hold on.
You're not listening. I'm gonna just
shut the fuck up.
Let's say I get pulled over.
Up.
I get pulled over. I'm gonna continue with this until you listen. I get pulled over, and the charade cop. I pulled over. You guys would pull over.
You pussy.
Would you pull over for a cop when they put their lights on or not?
Arrest him, pussy. You fucking pussy. Arrest him.
Wait. Would you pull over for the cop in the first place?
Arrest him. Yeah, pull over and then arrest him.
Oh, so you're acknowledging his power to pull you
No,
over?
arrest him, you fucking bitch.
So you've arrested every cop who's pulled you over?
No one pulls me over.
No one pulls you over?
No.
Doc, have you arrested every cop who's pulled you over?
God damn it, David.
Did you pull over for cops?
Stop making this everyone else's fucking problem. It's your problem. Shut the fuck up, David.
No.
Honestly,
take a deep breath. What I'm saying is,
shut up, David.
What I'm saying is,
it's all
an imaginary.
Fuck you! Shut up! Shut your fucking mouth! Fuck you! Fuck you! Shut up! Shut your fucking mouth!
It's all an imaginary fiction.
My God.
So if I want to play their game, I say, okay, fine. I'm going to pull
him.
You want my license? Here, take my freaking license. I don't give a shit. That's all.
Fuck this guy. Boot his ass. Get the fuck rid of this idiot. Get the fuck rid of him. God damn it. Dude, fuck you. You literally want to just sit there and let these people do whatever, and then you want to cry about it 20 steps later.
Got to stand on your rights, Dave.
If he disrupts, shut the fuck up.
You and him can have a good conversation because honestly, neither of you will challenge your own belief.
Shut up!
Why should I challenge my own belief in the supremacy clause?
I can't even say what I was going to say.
It doesn't matter.
You're a fucking moron,
No, because you already know what I was going to say.
You're a dumbass.
I got both you frauds.
You've been saying it for fucking an hour and a half.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's been saying the same. He's been arguing the same point over and over again, and we've rebuffed him. We can't just move on.
If you're going to let the cop disrupt your business, then fuck you. You don't need rights. Honestly, I want you out of my country. You do not belong here. You need to get the fuck out. We don't care about you when you end up in court. We don't care about you when you end up in jail. We don't care. I don't know why that's so hard to get over. You people don't even worry about reading your fucking rights, and you never try and invoke them. And now you think that we ought to give a shit when you're put in fucking jail. Dude, I don't want you walking around my town. I don't want you talking. I don't want you sharing your fucking opinion at all. I want you to shut up, go sit in a cage, and make some money for the judges. I don't give a shit.
Yep,
seriously, none of it makes any sense. Oh, you're in court. That means what? That you got yourself in court. This dude, David, you're not getting it. You put yourself in court. You consented all the way. You're securing your documents, and then you hand them over. And then you want to cry about it. Oh, it's everyone else's fault that I did that.
Yeah, just like who else do we know in this equation that does that?
Carolina.
The socialist. No, the socialist blames everyone else for their problems. The socialist.
Yeah, they do. But, you know.
That's a characteristic of the socialist.
All of these auditors are equally just confused. Oh, why are you arresting me? As if they even have a right to arrest you. It's like, dude, why can't you take responsibility for your end of it? It's that you're the one that doesn't understand that you're securing your documents. You're the one that ended up in court because you handed over your ID. You're the one that did that. And now you want it to be everyone else's fault. Everyone else needs to step up and come and arrest the cop that abused you, even though you let every goddamn bit of it happen right in front of you. And then you want to sit here and pretend like it had nothing to do with you. That's what they want. And then you want to go all the way through the court process and you want to pretend like, oh, they did this to you. And I know what the judge will say if I invoke my rights, and so I don't even do it. Oh, wow, you're so smart. Good job. You really got ahead of that one, didn't you? You really figured that out. And so I don't even invoke my rights because I know what they'll say. And you're wondering why we don't give a shit if you and your cousin or whoever ends up in fucking jail for 20 years. We don't care. Because it's like, dude, why would I want you walking around? Seriously, why?
Yeah, if you can't pass, I mean, this is standing on and invoking your rights and becoming a complainant with damages. Okay, is not rocket science. It's a hell of a lot easier than trying to convince the court that you don't have to show up.
He's not even going to try and convince anyone of anything. He's just going to not show up, and then they're going to issue a warrant for his arrest.
Yeah, then they're going to toss him in jail.
Jesus Christ, you've watched all these fucking videos, and that's your goddamn solution? Stop watching videos, you fucking idiot! That's your solution?
Yeah, the solution is go into court, stand on your rights, period. And if the judge doesn't want to hear it, you hold the judge in contempt and arrest him right there. You're under arrest. Let's get an arraignment going.
The cop committed some crimes against you anyway. Why didn't you arrest him?
That's why you're there in the first place.
Why are we starting everything in the fucking middle? It's like, yeah, dude, you made every fucking choice wrong, and now you want someone to come in and... honestly, what they want is to say some magic words and have court dismissed. So that they don't have to have brains at all. They don't have to have thoughts at all. Because they're just going to go in and say the magic words that they memorized. Dude, I don't know why these people believe this, but it's a sickness, man. It's... Your injured complainant has a 14th Amendment protection to equal protection under the law. Okay? So if you committed a crime against them, you're standing trial, you fucking moron. And it doesn't matter how much bitching about fucking nonsense that you do. You are standing trial now. It's time to move to that. Give me 5 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah, hey, listen, I'm going to go ahead and call it because I got a place to be at 3 o'clock, and I got to leave like right now. Hey, it was a vibrant show, to say the very least. Thanks for your time today, Kennedy, and everybody that watched. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment. All right, listen, bro, I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for coming, and thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Joe. Everybody have a good one.